Happy 30th birthday.
To you? Oh, man.
But yeah. Got Jeff Baca on. Beff Jaca, some of you may know him. Today's his birthday. It's not being released the same day, but it is his birthday. It's super cool. We used to spend our birthdays together in different ways, and now we're sipping coffee and doing shots. I guess it's kind of like the old days.
A little bit. Man.
Just less of a hangover.
I don't even think I can handle that anymore. That was, like, thinking back on it, like, talking about just stuff prior to recording, like, there's certain things that I don't think I could do anymore. Just, like, even thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know how I did some of the stuff that I did then. Because I'm, 4 years older than you?
Yeah. 34 and 30.
I'm like, man, doing that stuff back then, I was like 25, 26. Like,
I just turned 21.
there's no way.
It either makes my mouth water, gives me the chills, or it makes me feel really tired.
Oh,
I was telling Anna a story, since we're on the topic of the good old days, if you want to call them good. That one time we were probably drinking all day. Rico's with Adam too. Probably started in the morning when we woke up, and it's probably 8 o'clock at night by this time. And we get a phone call from our cousin in Las Cruces.
oh my gosh.
And she said, "We're having a party. You guys come out."
You have it wrong. We went and judged the Christmas light parade that night.
That's what it was.
That's what we did. We judged the Christmas light parade that night. We were there, and they had texted Jericho, and he called us while we were at the parade. He's like, "Hey, we're headed to Cruces tonight." We're like, "Dude, it's 8 o'clock at night." "No, we're going to Cruces tonight." "Okay."
Bro, well, alrighty then.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, dude, I forgot about that.
We did the Christmas light parade.
That's
That, regardless of what happened, like that, just the drive down there lives in my head for the rest of my life. Just because of that whole, like I said, judging the Christmas light parade, it's 8 o'clock at night. We're going to Cruces. Like, that's a 3-hour drive, bro.
Yeah. And we got there and partied till who knows when. It's horrible.
Went to a frat house.
Almost got in a fight. That guy's boots, wasn't it?
I don't even remember. I just remember you guys looking at me, Jeff, and doing this.
Yeah, we'd always
As
do
a
that.
signal.
That was a signal.
As
It's
a signal.
about to go
We're
down.
about to fight.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's do it. But then I ran into, it was crazy too, because we're there, and we're at this frat house. I don't know nobody down there except for the group that we went with.
Yeah.
And I hear this guy go, "Jeff?" And I'm all, "What the heck?" He's all, "It's me." And I'm like, "I have no idea who you are."
Remember that.
And he goes, "It's Rob." And I'm all, "Rob?" He goes, "I was a freshman when you were a senior." And I'm like, holy crap.
He had a brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just sat there and talked to that kid. I hadn't seen him 5 years, 6 years, something like that at the time. And I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah. That's the same night you took that bike for a ride that was on the porch. We put Rico on the roof. Do you remember that girl at Alyssa's house?
Oh, she was gone.
And she was just,
She
you
was
get there, she's
wrecked.
just asleep on the couch. We're
Why?
like, "Is this girl okay?" And they're like, "Yeah,
The funniest
she's
thing.
okay."
We
I
thought
can't remember what she said though.
Me either.
She said something. It was
And
hilarious.
then we were playing, like, Heads Up. She was passed out on the couch over here, and we were playing Heads Up over here. And what was funny is she answered one of the clues. She popped out. She was like, "Clifford, the big red dog," and then just fell back down. We're all,
She is
"She's
alive.
alive."
We're good. Keep going.
And then that night, I'm like, everybody's like laying around everyone. I'm like, I don't want to wear jeans to fall asleep. I was like, "Alyssa, do you have any shorts?" She goes, "Maybe." She brings out these shorts, and they were like this big. And I'm like,
"Oh, these are going on.
I was like, "I'm not getting in those." She goes, "Oh no, they stretch out. You'll get in." I'm like,
How much do they stretch?"
I'm not getting in those. 365 pounds, bro. There's no way I'm getting in those.
Did you?
No, they came to like right here.
Yeah, dude. You might as well just slept in your underwear.
I did. I took them off.
Because who was out? Because I slept on the floor in Alyssa's room,
Right.
and I don't remember where you guys slept.
I slept on the floor in the living room. Jericho was on the couch.
The other couch.
Yeah. But then that girl disappeared. We woke up and she was gone. I don't know what happened.
Scary.
Yeah, that was a little scary. Because I'm like, what happened? Because I don't even remember her name. I couldn't even tell you what she looks like.
Yeah.
But like, I remember, and then I was pissed too. I'm like, she left and didn't tell me. I could have been on the couch this whole time. I'm laying on the floor.
Was that couch big enough though? Like it was a small couch.
Probably not.
Your legs would have been hanging off
Yeah.
the end.
Either way, it's more comfortable
You'd
than
woke up with a
before.
crick. That's
No,
nowadays.
that's now. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's now. Back
Yeah.
then, I would have woke up just fine.
Like, oh.
Now, yeah, it's fine
Yeah.
to sleep right.
I don't remember what we did the next day, but I feel like we were all a little tired.
What did we do the next day?
Because we went to Olivia's apartment. I
Yeah,
don't remember if we partied that day.
we didn't. We just sat and watched football
Yeah.
in her apartment.
Yeah.
That's all we did.
Didn't we go to the Spanish place?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I was too wrecked from the night before to, because we drank a lot. I remember we were whooping everybody at beer pong too, and that's what they were getting pissed about too.
Yep.
Because we whooped everybody. They're
Like
like,
our lives then.
they were like, we're the best beer pong players. We're like, I bet. And
No, we're the best. This side of the Mississippi.
we whooped them, and they were getting pissed.
But no, just before this too, we were talking about that one time. Went to a party and you had filled up that bottle of Grey Goose with water, and we didn't tell anyone that it was water. So you show up with a full bottle of Grey Goose, and guys wanted to try and outdrink you. And
Well, it was crazy because we drank a lot, and I mean, it's not a boastful thing, especially with where I'm at now. But like, we drank a lot back then, and you'd have people come through all the time. Like, we can outdrink you. Well, I don't think so.
that was like a thing for some reason.
We can outdrink you. I don't think so. Like, I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, it's gonna happen. No, it's not gonna happen. But yeah, I remember filling up that bottle, and I don't remember who it was, but I remember two guys came in and like wanted to party with us, and they were just acting all showy and all this. I'm like, anytime I drink, you drink. All right. And just downing this bottle of Grey Goose that was just filled with water.
And they're like, we're gonna die tonight.
Yeah, they're like, we could go with you, and I'm like, I don't think so.
Get a bottle. Let's see.
The funniest time that I remember, especially video, you know where I'm going with this, especially
There's a couple I have in
video-wise,
mind.
especially video in mind, like, was when you did that tall shot of Jaeger.
That was my. I think we had our lowest moments in the same place.
That was it for you.
Yeah, dude, that was scary.
But the funniest, it wasn't even the night. The night was funny, but it wasn't even that. It was re-watching the video from the GoPro that we had the entire time. And you're like, I have to be out by now.
Yeah, because
How am I still awake?
yeah,
Go
I
every time.
did it. I had never experienced like blacking out,
Yeah.
and it scared me so much the next day that happened that I like looked it up, and I was like, why do people black out? And it's too fast.
Yeah.
And that shot was like a 9-shot shot glass, and the Jaeger, and I was like, all right, I'll do it. And yeah, dude, and watching the video back, that was probably the night I pissed my pants.
That
dude.
is the night you pissed
Yeah.
your pants.
And I was like, dude, don't
Jericho
remember anything.
Jericho and I had to change you.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, dude, these guys saw me naked. It's like, I already know what that looks like. It ain't good. But yeah, dude, after that day, I was like, dude, I could never do that again. And I never went that hard ever.
I think that was, like you said, we had low moments there, and that's what the perspective on a lot of stuff changed. Like, that's when I was just like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, why?
You snap back real quick.
Yeah, like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I mean, I know why I started doing it. I mean, I went through a harsh breakup, and like, I just thought, hey, this will help me. But I mean, we had a lot of fun, but at the same time, I'm like, I look at it now, I'm like,
It was all wasted time.
yeah, because I'm like, I look at it now, I'm like, I think I have more fun now, and I enjoy a lot of this stuff now without all that.
100%.
I don't need it
Yeah.
to enjoy the time. Like, I mean, there were so many things, like, because not even just with you, like with other people, like even your brother or other people that we go with, like, and we'd go that hard. I remember that time when Tom and I went to Ojos Locos, and we got blitzed over there, and it was like the Christmas Eve, and he wanted to go to the mall after we got wrecked.
I remember this story.
And we went and both of us spent like $2,000 that day on junk for no reason. I remember walking to the Oakley store, and he's like, I got to buy this for my dad. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Crack's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. So it's like, but yeah, I look at it now.
Just kidding.
Like,
That was a joke.
I look at it now, and I'm like, I don't need that ever
Yeah.
to do that, to have that much fun. Like, we have fun, and I enjoy the stuff that I do without it.
I think maybe those times in that time frame of where we were staying pretty much all the time and where we were drinking most of the time. But like the times that I had probably the most fun is probably with like me, you, and Dad.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
You know what I mean?
That picture came up the other day where it's the three of us in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Where you took a picture of us like I'm combing my hair. And
Yeah.
it's like family bonding time. And it's
Yeah.
just me, you, and Dad
Yeah.
in my bathroom.
Yeah. We were just always hung out. It was
Yeah.
good times.
Playing pool,
Playing pool.
sleeping under
And I
the
feel
pool
like we
table.
drank, but we never like crazy
Went too hard,
partied.
yeah. Yeah, because we didn't need to.
Yeah, and like hanging out with Dad playing pool, and I remember him just hacking on us, dude. Remember that time he spanked me?
Yeah,
That was probably a night we might have drank a little too much.
but it was
And
funny.
we were wrestling in the bed, and he comes in mad, dude, that we're so loud, and he spanked me,
With a
dude.
paddle. Yeah,
The
the paddle,
paddle.
too.
And I remember like he hit me, and I don't think I've ever been hit like that. On my butt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like it gave me chills. It hurt so bad, dude. And I was all, okay, I think we're gonna go to bed now. I don't think we did.
No,
We
we
probably started sucking helium after that.
something. You're in the spirit world. That was always funny.
Yeah.
I never understood why there was in Dad's pantry
A
with all his
propane tank
food.
of-
Yeah, there's this massive bottle of helium. Like, why is this in here?
Yeah.
I didn't even ask him, why is it in here? I have no idea.
Been there since.
It's still there, I think.
Yeah. Go back and take a
It's
hit.
like 10 years ago. It's still there.
But to go back to what led us to drinking together so much, we'll go back a little bit. I met Josh first, your brother Josh first.
Yeah.
Because that was when Tom was in the fire department.
Mm-hmm.
So was Josh then.
Mm-hmm.
Both in Los Chavez. And I remember I'm like, dude, that might be something I'd be interested in, right?
Yeah.
You know, pursuing a career. So then I wasn't 18.
Right.
I was close to it, and
Right.
Josh said, "No, you got to be 18, you know, and then you could sign up." So I was like, "Okay." I think that's how it went. So then I met him a handful of times. We'd go by, hang out with them, and then turned 18, signed up, met you,
Mm-hmm.
and then I don't remember who. I don't know. Were you my first partner?
Me, you, and Max.
Yeah, yeah. It was,
My
because that was
cousin
before
Max.
Max left,
Yep, it's my cousin Max.
and yeah, so that's how we met. And I knew you were Josh's brother, and we hung out. And then from then, it was like 10 years, not 10 years because that's now,
Yeah.
but like solid 5
just-
years of like
Constant.
nonstop hanging
Yep.
out.
Constant.
Both with girls at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and then did I leave?
You left.
That was when I moved, right?
Yep, you moved to Arizona.
Moved to Arizona, came back, things didn't work out.
Right.
You were still going a little bit,
A little bit.
and then mine fell through. We'll call it falling through.
Mine fell
Details.
through.
Yours
Yeah.
fell through, and we were both sitting there one day. Well, it's probably like 7 a.m. You want a drink? You know what I mean?
And
And like you said, not to like boast or like brag about how much we drank, but I honestly believe sometimes you need that.
No, I don't disagree with that at all.
And I wouldn't have. Probably if I hadn't seen you stop, I probably wouldn't have thought twice about it.
Yeah.
Because we have the same beliefs, the same
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
process, and we were best friends. And the good times we had before we had started drinking were countless.
Yeah.
And then we got into the drinking thing together. And we could probably sit here for hours just telling stupid stories.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's like the guys you see on the side of the freeway,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a sign that's like, "Dude, I'm just trying to buy a beer." You know what I mean? I'm like, "Dude, you know what? Maybe that guy, maybe he needs a beer." Because to sit there, and I worked at the homeless shelter, and I saw the
Yeah.
other side of it. Like some
Yeah.
people just don't want help,
Yeah.
but and this may sound good or bad, but usually people who just stand there with a sign, I usually don't give them any money because
Yeah.
I know the other side, and I know there's a lot of help for people like that.
Right.
But the dude who's standing there like, I need a beer. I still don't give him money, but I'm like, he's being
Yeah.
honest, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe he just needs a beer.
Well, like you said, I think we do need it at times. Like, that was a huge help for me to kind of like gain certain perspective. I'm a firm believer in like you have to go through things in order to learn things.
100%.
Like good, bad, or indifferent. Like you have to go through them. I people laugh because of the tattoo I have. I got it before We Are the Millers came out, but it says regret nothing because it's literally how I live. Like things that I was in control of and things that I wasn't in control of. I don't regret what happened and how things played out. Relationships, jobs, etc. They are all helping points for me to who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go through some crap in order to come
Grow.
from it and exactly grow. That's been the biggest thing that I've been telling a lot of people now, like the refinement. Think of like gold, think of diamonds. You go through pressure, through heat, through gold. You have to
the process of life.
Right. You have to do that in life as well. Like I have to go through some difficulty in order to come through better and probably more on top than I was before.
Yeah.
So, and I agree with that. Like we, not boastful in it, we did drink a lot. We did have a lot of fun, but there was also a lot of times that I was just sitting there going like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why?
We probably would have been more ahead of how we are now. We probably would have been more
I
ahead
agree.
if we didn't waste so many
Oh,
nights.
I agree with 100%.
Yeah.
Because you remember I used to teach.
Yeah.
I mean, you used to go with me to classes.
Yeah.
Because of drinking, I lost them.
Yeah.
Imagine where I'd be now. I had the best pass ratio through that program.
Yeah. Then it became flaccid.
Yeah. I hate you. I wonder what that woman's doing. She don't work there no more.
So
That was funny.
Squirrel moment. We taught Jeff. I was tagging along. I was probably drinking a lot. You had probably started to slow down a little bit, and I was
Nope.
no.
Nope.
You were still going.
Yep.
Okay. But I don't think you would drink that morning. I don't know if I drank that morning actually. Who knows? But Jeff went to teach a CPR class in Albuquerque, and this girl was like helping put it on, and she liked the word flaccid, and she used it in like.
Everyday speech.
Yeah, and I've never heard anyone
either.
use it like that. She'd be like, "Oh yeah," like just how I used it.
Yeah.
And then we became flaccid, and you're like,
I remember
she just
yeah, because she was like over here and like kind of how we're sitting now. She was like off to my left, you were off to my right, and she's like, yeah, and then it became real flaccid. I'm like, what?
can you
Like,
say that?
did you hear
Yeah.
that? Like,
Yeah. But
did
she was
just
using
use
it
it?
like stagnant. And you're like,
Yeah.
just say a different
Yeah,
word.
just
There's
something.
plenty of other
Yeah.
adjectives, you know what I mean? And like let's look
why
at
you go
the
flaccid? Like,
yeah. Let's look at the synonyms and
forgot about
antonyms of
I
a
forgot
word like
about
that.
I forgot about that.
But yeah, and
that's
so I just kind of came to you on that. So
No,
like,
that's good. Yeah. No, because
But,
it's in the time frame. Because yeah, that's the reason I lost those though was because of that.
Yeah.
That whole process. Because I drank it way too much
yeah,
and would show up still smelling like it. Or
yeah.
Even still.
Sound like
under the
it's still
influence.
doing it.
I remember one time we had to come down to Belen, and we were in Las Lunas, and we lost track of time because we were morning drinking. And I look at the time, I'm like, Tim, we got to be there in 10 minutes. Like class starts in 10 minutes. And we hit the freeway going like 110 miles an hour trying to get to Belen.
Allegedly.
Trying to get to Belen to teach a class. And that's when they drew that mural on
Yeah,
the board.
us.
You remember that?
Yeah, it was.
That thing was pretty accurate
Yeah.
too.
I had that sick fro,
The
dude.
sick fro.
Dude, I forgot about that.
I still see that picture when we went to John Mayer with that fro.
Dude, yes. What's funny is I had Spanish Jimmy on, I had James on 2 guests ago. And we talked about, us, he got me into playing drums and all this stuff in the church. And then
Right.
we hadn't seen each other in years. And he's telling the story and I totally forgot, Not because of alcohol, because I was young. Just, it is what it is. But he goes, yeah, and then I hadn't seen you in years. And then he starts bringing up John Mayer. So I was like, it's kind of strange. He's tying John Mayer into this story, right? And he goes, yeah, and I was dating a girl at the time, and she liked John Mayer, and I didn't want to say I like John Mayer because all the girls like John Mayer. I want to seem weird. He goes, but I went with her. He goes, then I ran into you, and I was like, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. And I was like, dude. And he goes, and then that was when I got you a job with the rescue mission.
Yeah.
And that's what started, me and him started up again because of that
Holy
show.
crap.
And he's like, and then you called me the day after the show. Hey, you still hiring? And I was like, dude, I remember all that.
I remember that too.
It's pretty crazy how like all my friendships tie in.
That is pretty wild. I remember that.
Yeah.
That concert was a good concert.
Yeah. Could have been better.
You were pissed. I remember that. You didn't want to leave. You were sitting in the ground. I'm not leaving. He didn't play.
Yeah.
So I read a thing. He's not bringing anyone with him anymore.
Oh, dude.
Because of that reason. Because he's like, I don't have time to play my songs. And fans are missing out on key songs that they enjoy.
Yeah. Dude, his last album, killer. That was so good.
I loved it.
I would love.
Yeah.
If he played just that album, I'm
Amazing.
good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I just remember that night you were so pissed.
I was so
I'm not
bummed.
leaving. I'm like, Tim, they're done.
Yeah.
No, he's coming back. I'm like,
Yeah.
Tim, they're done. No, he's coming back because he didn't play and you named like 4 songs. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're done.
Yeah.
You're so pissed.
So even today, I'm like, dude, that show was lame. Dude. But no, it was a really good show. That was like John Mayer Trio, John Mayer.
Yeah.
And, like, it was so good.
Philip Phillips was there too.
Yeah.
I remember he sang Usher. Nice and Slow by Usher.
Hmm.
And I was like, I actually like this.
Yeah. Pretty, dude, some of those like acoustic covers of songs like that,
Mhm.
you're like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
They got
Like
it
if
down.
this was your song.
Yeah.
it would
No,
be-
you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But
That's funny. That's a long time
then
ago.
we'll go back to continuing the heartbreak thing. That was gonna be my question. You kind of answered it. Like, do you think people when they go through times like that, I think it could go either way. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking it could go either way. You either realize you're wasting time and you could be doing better things with your life, or you go deeper into it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with that. And you go one of two ways. And I went the deeper into it. Because I was trying to numb. I was with someone for 5 years.
Yeah.
We did everything together. Like we did, like it was basically like we were married. And when we ended, it was brutal.
Yeah.
And what I thought would help was actually just delaying.
Trying to move on.
Right. It was delaying all this pain and this whatever. So I numbed it. I felt like I was handling it. Yeah. Oh, we're thriving. But I just got deeper into junk. And it actually, like you said, I'd probably be a lot further off in life with other things had I not gone deeper.
Yeah.
But I didn't know any better.
I'll say just from my point of view, there's no doubt in my mind that when that happened to you, it happened to me at the same time frame. There's no one that I would have rather had done it with.
Right. I agree.
And I felt like in that moment, us like feeding on each other. We needed each other.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we did, not regretful things because looking back, it made us who we are now.
Right.
But like, thinking back, I'm like, dude, like we were both in the same situations. Yours is probably a little worse.
I don't know. It's probably about the same.
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
You were in it longer.
Right.
But you guys made it harder.
But you guys were at a point very similar to where we were at. I mean, moving to Arizona, like these things that you guys, you were very similar in the relationship that we were in. But I agree. Like I wouldn't have. I mean, and we kind of relied on each other. Like I don't know where I would have been or how I would have. I know I probably, and this is just not being over dramatic in a lot of things, but had I been alone, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today because it was hard. And like you said, we had each other. The things that we did, like you said, not regrettable to me. But had I not had that, I would have been. I don't think I'd be sitting here right now.
Yeah.
Because it was hard, and having someone there that understands, that listens, that are doing the same things, going through the same whatever. Like we relied on each other. That's why we were always together.
Yeah.
We relied on each other. Had I not had that, I don't know where I'd be. I don't think I'd be alive.
I probably wouldn't have been drinking because I didn't have a job. You were paying for everything. Well, I probably would have been good because I didn't have any money. But no, because I was jobless.
Yeah, I think I would have been drinking, but I would have been. I almost, because even in that instance, I almost drank myself to death. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so it's not. I don't know, but we're alive. We're here. We're still thriving, and that's like telling your mom, like, we may not be seeing each other every day like we used to, but we still got that bond and friendship that will never, ever, just because of the stuff that we went through together.
Yeah. And, dude, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that, like you said, people have to go through that stuff, and you go, like I said, one or two ways, but I think having each other in that time was exactly what we needed.
Yep.
And then you broke away, you stopped drinking, and I probably stayed a little bit longer drinking like that. I'll still have drinks.
Yeah.
But not like that. That was probably the last doozy for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, there's no doubt in my mind that in that particular moment, that was exactly what we needed for each other. Because like you said, who knows where you would have been, had you not snapped out or whatever. Which I'm glad you had that. But we had a lot of stories.
Because even that though, like even like sober though, we had like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Just
doing stuff like at the firehouse, just doing dumb stuff over there. You know what I mean? Like,
okay. I had a question for you.
Okay.
Fire department times.
Okay.
As soon as I say it, you're gonna know the answer. What restaurant and meal do you crave and miss the most? Health out of the way, because we're gonna talk about health in a second. What restaurant and particular meal do you miss? Because I think about it constantly.
I don't know. Oh, the burger with the egg on top?
No.
Is that where you're going?
No. They're not a restaurant anymore. At least here in Las Vegas.
What? Well, like Village Inn?
We used to get the same thing every time.
What did we get at Village Inn?
It's a chicken ranch sandwich.
Oh, dude, the chicken ranch,
It's
dude,
so good.
with fries.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so good.
Because then I thought about Denny's. When we go to Denny's,
Yeah.
you get that burger with the egg on top, and we'd always eat that too.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
That was when I found out I had stomach issues. You remember that?
Dude.
Not even joking,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we ran a call, and we went back to Denny's, and they remade our food for us, and I had the fattest burger, grease all over the place,
So unhealthy.
tomatoes, sesame seed bun. I went to town, and we like walked out, and I was like, "Tim, I don't feel good."
Yeah.
I was like, maybe we ate too much, and I just dropped to my knees in pain. And that's when I found out I had diverticulitis.
Yeah.
All the seeds and all the grease that I ate just in that meal just killed me.
Yeah, dude, that was no joke.
I forgot about Village Inn, though.
Dude, we used to, even outside of the fire department, we were always at Denny's at
Always.
midnight having coffee,
Yeah, always.
talking.
Like this.
They weren't drinking.
Yeah.
We weren't
That's what I'm
drinking
saying. Like we did a lot of stuff sober, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Denny's. I hate Denny's.
Yeah.
Because of that. Like I walk in now, like I tell my friend Triana all the time, they're like, when we go to Disneyland, we go to Denny's. I'm like, I'm not going with you. They're like, well, I was like, I hate Denny's. I hate it. The smell grosses me out.
Yeah.
They're like, why? I said, 2 places the smell grosses me out. Allsup's and Denny's. Because at 2:00 in the morning,
That's all there is.
there's nothing to eat in this town except for those 2 places.
Do you ever have a weird smell thing with a particular hand sanitizer
No. What answer?
from the trucks? Is that gross you out?
I don't even remember that.
Vinex.
I don't remember it.
But do you remember that though?
Yeah,
The Vinex?
It
Dude,
never bothered me.
I'm like, it makes my mouth water. Gross. I don't know what it
Gives
is.
you the chills.
Yeah, it's just smelling. And like every time I smell like it's almost like a hospital cleaner.
Really?
I'm
No,
like,
it doesn't. No, I don't remember that. Like, I think my nose was numb to that one.
yeah.
But like walking, my dad wanted Denny's one day. I want some pancakes. I'm like, can we just make pancakes?
Yeah.
He's like, no, let's go to Denny's. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hate Denny's. And we walk in. I was like, this is why I hate Denny's. He goes, why? I said, this smell just grosses me out. I hate it so much.
Dude, I couldn't tell you last time I was in there.
Me either. The last time I was with Dad, but that was years ago. Because I haven't eaten like that. I go to very few restaurants out and about.
Yeah.
So like, and Denny's is definitely not on the list.
Yeah. There are better options
Ugh.
if you are gonna eat out. But no, dude, we had a lot of food. That was my thing with with the band.
Yeah.
Like if, for whatever reason we ever made it, like dude, my big thing would be food.
Yeah.
I want to go experience food and all these other places. You know what I mean? But
And that, yeah.
dude, my thing was food, and then like now, like what are we eating, dude? Even like now, like my big thing is like sugar.
Yeah.
I'll look at sugar on everything. You know,
Really?
Because with what I'm giving Oliver, dude.
30 came quick, Tim.
I know. Dude.
You're looking at sugar?
No. It's been a while. Because what started off was because I love Baja Blast.
Oh.
Okay, I know. So one day I was like, I wonder. You know, just curious.
What sugar is
Because it never bothered me the amount of sugar that I
Right.
whatever. Yeah, everything has sugar. It doesn't matter. So I looked up a Baja Blast and I was like, oh my gosh, that is not good. And it grossed me out so much that I look at everything now. Because I'm like, dude, that's not good for you at all. So I'm like, stuff we'll get for Oliver or just normal stuff.
You just look at it.
Like, because the stuff I used to still enjoy now, I'm like, oh, how much sugar does it have? Because now sugar's a big thing. And I'll look, I'm like, I'm good. I don't want it anymore.
That's crazy.
It's gross. It grosses me out, dude.
Really?
Like, I watched a video because I'm like, is that a lot of sugar though? And I watched the video. I was like, my goodness,
That is a lot of
that's
sugar.
a lot of sugar.
Well, that was, yeah. I still enjoy certain things. The thing that will get me every time, as far as unnatural sugar, is Reese's. You get me a frozen Reese's, and I'm gonna devour that thing. I don't care about the sugar. I don't care. I'll go work it off later.
Yeah.
But that's like the only thing.
Well, speaking of, just
Yeah.
kidding.
Come on. Let's go.
A hidden freezer over here.
But that's pretty much it. Like, because everything else is pretty much natural. Because like even the sugars that I'll eat are natural.
Yeah.
Like I eat a lot of fruit, but
A
it's
lot of sugar, but it's natural.
but it's natural sugar,
Yeah.
and your body can digest that better
Yeah.
than all this other stuff. And that's the thing. Like,
Then the juice in mimosas.
damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's the only thing. Honestly, the only thing that's like kind of unnatural sugar that I'll ingest is He's from Reese's. I love chocolate. I can't. It's just that's one of the hardest things for me to give up.
I'm good on sweets. Like I could
I
go,
love sweets.
I could go years and then like, or not years. That's a little dramatic. Like months, and not ever think about like a candy or anything. But every now and then, like I'll get something or see something. I'm like, dang, and then I'll overdo it. I'm like, that's why.
And then you feel terrible.
Yeah, like I'm good. But yeah, dude, dude, 30 did come pretty quick. But
like I said earlier, we sound old in some of the stuff that we're saying. Like that. I'm reading the sugar on everything. I'm like,
dude,
what?
Yeah, I'm reading sodium. I'm reading sugar.
Same.
And I'm like, dude, because I know how I feel when I have too much.
Right.
And yeah, it's funny, like the amount of alcohol and food we were consuming.
The sugar,
and dude, it is like that's another thing. We're still alive because I mean the amount of constantly.
But even then, I mean, we're close to 10 years ago.
Yeah, I guess so. We were pretty young.
We were younger.
I feel like everyone does that, but like I don't know when it was I started looking at sodium and sugar and stuff. It's probably been a couple of years.
When you got a kid, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I bet you that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
Because you're concerned for him.
And, dude, what was I looking at now? I was telling Mom about it. I'm like, do you know how much sugar's in that? And then she's like, I don't know. I'm like, oh, we got to get rid of that, dude. But I was watching a video of fruit juices. Because he loves juice. Those are bad, dude. Even if you get like the less sugar ones.
Dilute them.
Yeah, and that's what I do. That's because even with like every now and then I'll crave like an orange soda. And I always, for years, when I was even younger, it was always too strong tasting for me.
Yeah.
So I put water in it. And I know it's weird. But I always did that with like the grape sodas, orange sodas, stuff like that. I'll put water in it. Just because it's like too sweet. But yeah, now I'll get everything, dude. You know, and even like stuff that sounds good. Like we were at the airport a couple days ago. And my big thing now with like fruit juices, I love a mimosa in the morning. If we're on vacation, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have a mimosa.
There you go.
And it's who knows what time in the morning, but I'm like, that sounds good right now, right? We're on vacation. Who knows? Who knows? I'm like, I'm going to get a mimosa because I can, right?
Yeah.
And my biggest thing, like, it's like cringy to me, but it's just, it sounds good. So I know the fruit juice in it. I'm like, can I just get the champagne? But you can't just, you sound like a psycho if you get just champagne at 6 a.m. So the juice makes it sound a little better.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But with food, we get there and like, oh, we have time. Let's get breakfast. So Anna was like, I just want a little bit of bacon and something. Like, cool. It's like, I want wheat toast and eggs. And I was so ready to have this little breakfast, dude. And then her watch goes off. Your flight's boarding. And we had just ordered our food. We hadn't even gotten our food. We sat down and ordered. And I was like, what was I thinking? We only have 30 minutes. Like, you know? So I told the guy, I'm so sorry. Charge me for the food. I'll pay for it. You know, whatever you got to do. And he goes, no, you're good. I'll take it off. It's not a big deal. I'm like, no. I was like, if it's going to, get anyone in trouble or anything, it was my fault. I didn't, time management wasn't very good this morning. And I said, so charge me for the food. I'll pay for it. And he goes, you're good. Don't worry about it. So I gave him a good tip just because he was a super nice guy. But my craving meals now are wheat toast and eggs. And like back in the day, I'd have been like, give me the
burgers with the egg on top of it. Yeah.
And nope. Not anymore. It grosses me out.
That's how I am. I mean, I don't even... a friend of mine gave me a meal plan, and that's what I follow. I just eat whatever's on that meal plan, and it changes.
Like what kind of... it does change?
Yeah, it changes I change my stuff every 6 to 8 weeks. My workout plan and my meals.
Because when we were doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu together...
Oh my gosh.
Dude. So we were still drinking.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. That's when I found out I had bad hips. I was all swollen, dude. I couldn't even walk.
That's when you found out that a guy my size can move that fast.
Yeah. That's when I use my hair in your face to gross you out.
So gross.
But, where was I going with this story?
We were talking about food. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, yeah. Because we were doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, working out, still drinking, but then we started to watch our food. So we got like tuna, chicken breast, rice, very plain stuff. We did that for a while.
We were even doing protein shakes and everything. And it got so old. Right? So that's why I asked, like, you said your meal plan changes, and right away I was like, oh, dude, that'll keep you going a little bit more than just having the same thing. But some of it still gets old, because a lot of it's the same stuff. Like, a lot of people look at me funny. I only eat red meat once a month.
Okay.
So everything is fish and chicken. Everything.
So, but fish and chicken, there's still a lot of different things.
There's a lot of ways you can do with it, but I'm pretty picky on stuff. So, like, a lot of people, like a lot of the hacks are you put mustard on stuff because it gives it the taste. I hate mustard. Hate it. Because mustard compared to mayo, the calories, the everything is
Better for you.
right. So much better for you. But I hate it. Like, people forget because I get like the tuna packs and I just eat them just like that.
Mm.
And they're like, what is wrong with you?
Those are good.
And they're like, you just eat them just straight up. I'm like, yeah. They're all, that's it. Like, I don't use crackers. I don't use them. No.
So can you not have crackers?
I can. So, like, my carbs are, it's like a different intake. But instead of crackers, I'd rather get it out of something.
More enjoyable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, instead of a Stan saltine cracker or Ritz
Yeah.
cracker, like, I'd rather get it out of something else that I enjoy that I can take with me. But even then, like, because, like, my lunch is supposed to be chicken, rice, and broccoli, or chicken, rice, and veggies, or fish, any type of lean meat. But I just don't do the rice. Because, again, I want to get my carb intake from something a little more enjoyable than plain white rice.
Yeah. So, and I hadn't had it in quite a while because I know it's not healthy for you. But I was trying to do healthier. And so I go to Panda Express, dude.
Right.
I was like, I was craving more chicken one day I was working. I was like, I'm going to get a little, because before I would get like the triple on.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's gross. That's, and then another thing that nowadays is like portion for me
Yeah.
will gross me out. So I'll just stick to a smaller portion just because I'm like, that's bad for you alone. Overdoing it's bad for you.
Who are we?
Yeah, I know. So I was like, I'm going to get a Panda bowl, just the single serving. And then I was looking at the rice, and this is a health question. Is brown rice better for you? Because it has more carbs.
No, white rice is better for me.
Okay, I got white rice.
Yeah. White rice is way better for you. And what I get it, like if I go to Panda Express, like if I'm in like a dire need, I'll get, like if I go to Panda Express, I'll get the half white rice, half greens.
Oh, like the
So now I just cut
kale and spinach?
I just cut my carbs in half, and I'm getting carbs from the veggies, but it's better carbs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not complex carbs, more natural carb, and then I get the teriyaki chicken because it's just chicken breast cut up.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll get. But even then, like it's rare that I eat out. Like, one, I don't like to spend money,
Yeah.
and two, I can find food at any place. Like, they have healthy options at any place.
Mm-hmm.
But I trust knowing what I'm putting in my system from something that I've made or purchased, like that, like from the store. Like, I'll go buy the chicken, I'll cook it myself, and I'll have my
Your own
meal.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Plus, what you're putting on it. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
they could put some dressing on there that I don't know.
Yeah.
And, like, I haven't had dairy in 4 years.
Dude, with that dairy thing.
And if I do now, it hurts my system.
Yeah.
So if they put a dressing on something and it has dairy in it, now I get sick.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I'd rather just stick to what I have.
It's so funny talking about healthy stuff.
Yeah.
Because what I've been doing now, if we go to like a coffee shop, which I usually just make my own coffee or my own
Right,
lattes,
same.
and
Yeah.
If I do my own lattes here, I'll use an almond milk
Right.
for the latte. I recently got on a thing, oat milk.
Oat milk is so good.
Dude, it brought a tear to my eye. So I go, and I think I only got the same thing. So I wanted it because I don't like hot drinks. Even like when it's cold, I'll have warm coffee. But like in the summer, I'm like, dude, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm outside all day for work.
It's too hot.
It's too hot. So I always do ice. So I ordered medium-sized iced vanilla oat milk latte.
It's fire.
My goodness,
Do you
dude.
get the sugar-free vanilla?
I know.
Try it
I know.
with the sugar-free.
I should have, but I was like,
Well, no, because a lot of people don't like the sugar-free. They're like, it tastes different. No,
yeah.
there's no difference.
Well, because I always do. I mean, it's probably not healthy for you, but I always do extra shots.
Yeah.
You would with the extra
wouldn't even-
shots.
you
You
wouldn't
wouldn't
even tell
taste the difference
Yeah.
anyways because it's so dang strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, none of that stuff like that. I don't mind. Even we have like healthy sodas, and I forget what
Yeah.
healthier sodas.
Yeah.
Natural sugars, less calories, all this stuff.
Dude, oat milk.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good. When I was young, I used to like rice milk.
Wow.
Yeah,
I forgot about rice milk.
it's good.
It's not
It's
bad.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, even this morning before you got here, I was looking at a milk thing, and it shows like the normal store-bought milk compared to like a healthier alternative, and what they pull out of it that makes it unhealthy because it's still milk.
Right.
It's just what they do to it that makes it.
Right.
It's not unhealthy. It's not bad for you. It's just less healthy for you.
Right.
It doesn't have the same things that some of the other, like maybe
Right.
like a raw milk.
Right.
Or
I was going to say natural milk.
Yeah, they
is
pull a lot
not-
out of it.
Yeah, is not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some thick
Yeah.
stuff, dude. You're gonna
The only reason I don't do it is because of the amount of fat that's in milk.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do it. Because I was doing this research on a cellular molecular level how milk fat clings to your cells. So I'm like, let's get rid of that.
Yeah.
When I stopped doing it, I lost like 10 pounds in 2 months.
Yeah.
Just like that from not doing dairy. And it's hard because like the state we live in, everything has cheese on it.
Sometimes when it's not supposed to be there.
Right. It's still there.
Yeah.
Can I get that with no cheese?
Yeah, you're like,
and
why
everyone
does it have cheese?
Everyone's just looking at me like, anytime we go eat. And it's funny too, because like when we travel with the teams that I coach, they laugh. Like when we have to do overnight trips, I have a big old cooler with me. I don't know, what is that? I'm like, my food.
My food. Because it's fast food that you're going to be getting.
That's exactly. That's what I'm like. We're just going to be stopping at like McDonald's, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A,
they're
stuff
not paying
like that.
for a
like,
restaurant.
Yeah, I'm like, hard pass. That's
Or
what
the
I
kids'
just-
parents, I don't know how it is. Does the teams pay for it? Or
No,
like
so
the kids
the
pay
school
for it?
pays for it. You can pay for extra when you go somewhere,
But you
like
gotta
on
load
your own on your own money, but the school will pay for X amount for a meal for the kid.
Cool. But it's going to
So-
be fast food.
Yeah, it's always fast food.
Yeah.
It's pizza, it's McDonald's, it's Chick-fil-A, it's stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't want any of that.
When's the last time you had pizza?
5 years ago. That's the only food I miss. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't crave anything. Ever. Like where I'm like, oh, you know what sounds good right now? Ever. But pizza. Like you'll go to Dion's and I'll get my food that I normally do, like a salad or a lettuce wrap sandwich or whatever. And everyone I'm with all the time, they always get pizza. And I'm like, that thing smells so good. And it looks good. Just when they pull it off, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Melty and cheesy.
Oh, it looks so good. That's the only thing that I miss is pizza.
Dude, pizza is like if there was like a meal.
Yeah, for the rest of your lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be my go-to.
And it's good. Pizza's good. The dairy
It's a
thing
lot of
is.
bread.
Yeah.
There's cheese alternatives too, right?
Oh,
Like you
geez, the vegan cheese is the worst thing I've ever had in my life.
Is it really?
Oh, it's so bad. Andrew's wife, Madi, gave me she was like, we have vegan cheese. Because she heard that I wasn't doing dairy. She goes, try it. I'm like, okay. I was like, what is this?
What's the base? What is it?
I have no idea, but it was just awful. It was the worst thing I ever had in my life. And I've had a lot of terrible stuff.
Did you see the research done on the Impossible burgers?
No, but I would never put that in my system. Like, what?
Dude.
I don't understand how people can put that in your system. What is it made of? And you're putting this in your system.
Dude, it's scary.
Yeah.
How bad it is for you.
Yeah. And people would eat it up.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is a healthy alternative. I'm like, you have no idea what that's made out of.
And I'm sure there's like a lot of false preservatives in it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of this stuff.
Dude.
I said that right out the gate when everyone's like, try the Impossible. I'm like, it's impossible because it's impossible to digest that thing.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
It is scary. And that's what I look at too. Like certain foods. How is your body processing this stuff, if at all?
Right.
Because if it's not processing it, it's going to mess you up somewhere else in your system.
Yeah.
And I did it because I think I had it one time. I'm like, I'd rather have a burger.
I wouldn't, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And I think I had it one time just to try it, right?
Ugh.
And then afterwards, I was like, you got me thinking. I was like, what is this made out of? And then I was like, oh, that's scary.
It's a lot of fake stuff, I'm sure. I've never looked into it, but it just from common knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at fast food just in general. A lot of that stuff is fake anyway. I read a thing one time that 60% of the meat at Subway isn't even real. It's preservatives. 60% of it. I'm
That's
like,
scary.
yeah, I'm like, I'm okay.
Homie was lying, dude.
Yeah. That's why he's in jail.
Among other things.
That's why he's in jail.
It wasn't just the food.
Dang.
But yeah, it's funny, like, all your, like, recipes and stuff, and, like...
Well, you laugh. I laughed when you said that you read things, but I've been reading things for, we're 5 years into this. I've been reading things for 5 years, because, like, this is the first time in this 5 years that I've been doing this that I'm actually, like, drinking protein shakes. I did everything just natural. Like, chickens, turkey, fish. Like, I made all my food. Every meal was made, and I did it that way. I would never put anything that wasn't natural in my system. People do pre-workouts. I'm like, you understand the gummy stuff that's in these pre-workouts, that's in these proteins, these things that you're taking that are not good for your system, and you're putting it in your system because it gives me a good pump.
Mm-hmm.
I take the only thing I ever used as a pre-workout was a handful of dark chocolate covered espresso beans. Gives me,
That'll do it.
well, yeah, because it's a vasodilator. It opens up my system and my blood's pumping, but I don't have all this gummy nastiness in there.
It's a stick inside you.
Yeah, like I don't have that problem.
I don't know how I didn't know this till I got older, and it's so like you said, it's probably when Oliver was born 3 years ago that I started reading things. Just because I was probably feeling weird, and I was like, if I'm feeling weird, what's it doing to him?
Right.
Okay. So, gummy bears. Okay.
Right.
I'll buy a bag. I don't like probably ones with more sugar on them, like the I don't know, the sour ones.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, which that's all. That's a different thing. But like, I didn't know. Well, I knew, but I didn't think about it when I bought them. Right? It's gelatin.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And I'm like, dude, that's not good.
Mm-mm.
And you sit there and I just destroy a bag of like lifesavers or gummies.
The best ones that you can get are the gold one, that Harbaro or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are the best ones you can get.
Health wise.
Yeah, they're probably better. They're still a gelatin.
Yeah.
But they're not as bad for you as the other ones.
Because they have all the colors and stuff on them.
Yeah, and they say that those are like probably you take a handful of those after your workout. It's the best carbs you can have after your workout as well, because it's like a more natural sugar.
Yeah. Yeah, along with that juice thing, to go back real quick, I watched a video and they're like, if you want like juice, just have the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have the juice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that makes total sense. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I eat fruit all the time. We have fruit at the house all the time.
Yeah.
Because I thoroughly enjoy the sugar aspect, but I love the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much more natural for you. In this meal plan that I have, he told me eat all the fruit and vegetables you want. He goes, don't even worry about logging it and about the carb intake of those, because it's so natural. It's just going to go through your system and be fine. I'm like, okay.
That's cool.
So I eat all the fruit and vegetables. Cucumbers. Dude, I love cucumbers. If you ever want to trick your body into being full, eat cucumbers. Like say you're like out working and you don't have time to like eat lunch, but you're like feeling hungry, and to trick your body, eat some cucumbers. Because it makes your body, because it's water, essentially, right? It just makes your body feel full. And it does nothing to your system.
Is there any nutrients though? Are you pulling anything off of it, or is it?
Yeah, there's
water?
There's vitamins and stuff with it, but it's not like a bad one. And then like when you have it, like I said, it just tricks your body into thinking, oh, we just ate a meal.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best snacks you can have is cucumber.
I like cucumbers.
I love cucumbers.
Yeah.
My mom started growing cucumbers. They come in droves at the house. So I have one cucumber a day.
I like cucumbers. One a day. I mean, you probably couldn't even overdo it on cucumbers either.
Ever.
I
use them too because instead of crackers, I use cucumbers. That's what I use my tuna on.
That'll make it way more refreshing too.
It is.
That sounds super good.
It is so good.
I read a thing. I don't know if you know anything about this, but that's because I like sprouts. That sometimes they're bad for you. I don't know what I read. And I don't know if it's because it could have been that they found like some of the like you should probably wash your vegetables, right? It's things most people would do, but people weren't washing their sprouts, and there's something on them. They're like they were getting sick. But I'm like, why wouldn't you wash your stuff?
That's
You know how many hands are on the packages and stuff alone? But there's something about the sprouts, and I was like, dude, it kind of pushed me away for a second. But I think it was that they found they were just super dirty.
Yeah, probably. Wash everything you eat. Like when it comes to fresh things like that, like dude, I don't understand why people wouldn't. We pull them from the garden, wash them right away.
See that stuff about people washing their chicken and stuff?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I don't buy my chicken from like Walmart.
Yeah.
I'll buy it from Albertsons, but like I would rather go to a butcher. Because one time I was cutting chicken because I always trim the fat off the chicken before I cook it, and I was trimming the fat, and there was this like spot that looked like the fat, so I started cutting it, and it was a piece of plastic about that long in the chicken, and I was all, I'm not eating that.
That's where they were hooked up to the machine.
Something.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm not.
Scary.
I'm not eating that. So I don't buy I try not to buy my meat from a lot of these places because it's just so
mass produced.
Yeah. Who knows? I always tell people, I coach kids. Some of these guys look like grown men. We have a guy on our team that's 6'3", 230 pounds. He's got a full-grown beard like my brother's. He's 17 years old. Looks like a grown man. I'm like, it's because of the hormones that you put in these foods, the vegetables, the animals, everything to mass produce them. Now it's getting transferred over to the people.
So you would think that was a plus. having a beard at 17 years old.
Well, at 17, I would have liked to have had a beard.
Right? But you don't realize how this
Right,
happened.
but yeah, it's so unnatural.
Mhm.
Like, we were created a certain way. Like, let that natural creation happen. We're so consumer minded that all this stuff is just mass produced and we don't understand what's put into it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I'd rather go to a butcher because it's a natural. I mean, one time mom bought a half a cow and that's the meat we ate. It was the best meat I ever had.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I'd rather do that than get stuff from a store that's just mass produced. It's just so expensive.
Yeah, it is.
That's the only, and I get why people don't go for the more natural stuff because it is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, I'm grateful that I eat stuff like that because
You're good.
I feel so much better.
Have you ever been to Keller's?
Keller's?
Changed your life, dude.
What is it?
It's like a butcher, like a meat market.
Really? Where's it at?
It's far.
Oh.
Heights.
Oh.
But so we went because maybe Father's Day.
I think I've seen it, but I don't.
Yeah, you probably heard stuff on the radio, dude.
Maybe.
That's been there forever.
Yeah.
It's like old school. When you walk in, you're like, dude, this place is sick.
I did go there.
Yeah. Okay, so
With the Mies family.
don't go there. But no, so we went because I was like, I want to get a steak.
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
a steak from Walmart or from
Right.
any of these places.
I want a good one.
I want a good one. And so we go, and I'm walking because we'd never been in there. We didn't know how it worked. Dude, you gotta like pull numbers. That's old school.
Yep. I have been there.
And so we're walking down the line of all this stuff. They have everything. Seafood, all the way to your red meats and your pork. And dude, they had like sausages, which probably not that healthy for you, but they had like a blueberry maple sausage in a case already. Fresh.
Kind of want to try it.
Dude. And I was like, dude, put that like...
Did you get it?
No, heck
Oh.
no. I mean, not heck no, because I probably would. But I was like, that's probably not the best one you could get for you. But I was like, it sounds amazing.
Yeah. Like with some pancakes?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So then I was like, I got like 4 steaks. And then my weird cravings, and then when I like try new stuff, which I've always liked it, but I was like, I want to try it like fresh like this.
Yeah.
It was liver. So I got half-pound bison liver, half-pound beef liver.
That bison liver, though.
Dude, it's like that's something now that I'll crave, and it's super good for you, nutrients that are in liver, especially like that. Like it's not processed, it's not anything.
Right.
As fresh as you're gonna get it if you don't do, if you don't kill yourself. Okay.
Right.
But dude, I did liver and onions. My goodness.
And I'm sure that bison liver was amazing.
Oh, dude, that's
Because
so
bison
good.
meat is good.
So good.
Bison meat is
Okay,
good.
so is maybe a quarter pound or half pound. How much do you think that was of liver?
For bison?
Yeah.
You said you got a quarter pound?
Yeah, either a quarter or a half. Let's say a quarter.
I want to say it's probably like $25 for that. More? How much?
It was like $5.
No way.
Yeah. Because the steaks were expensive because I got T-bones and they were not small.
Right.
I said, give me 4 of the best looking ones you have. And he's all,
Okay.
all right. And he's going through, dude. And he's like, dude, look at this one. He showed me. I was like, goodness. And I looked at it and I was like, this is going to be expensive. But I was like, who cares? Like, I want a good steak.
Yeah.
And I was like, you want to get some of this liver too? And I ordered it. I was like, dude, this is going to be expensive.
$5?
And I think total it was less than $100.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to go visit that store.
Dude. And so I said, I'm like, you can't like keep that stuff forever, right? You got
Right.
to make
Yeah,
it right
you have
away.
to eat it. Yeah.
But I was like, dude, if we could get like, I bet you last a couple days in the fridge without, being
Yeah.
gross.
Oh, yeah.
So like we could do like a meal, like a week's worth of meals with some of this
Right.
stuff. And I'm like, dude,
And that's what I usually do.
Yeah.
When I go to the store, I usually buy stuff for that week.
Yeah.
So I can just prepare for it.
Yeah.
And because that's what I do now. And a friend of mine helps me out with that as well. So like we always have meals. A lot of people, I don't want to say piggyback off me, but they're like, hey, we want to do what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So if I help you or whatever. And so like we all kind of like team effort on this. And that's what we do is we have a week's worth of food in the fridge.
It's easy.
I might go up there and try it out.
Yeah.
Because I went there. I mean, this is a long time ago. I want to say like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember going to that, and that's what I was thinking, because they have other stuff there too.
Oh yeah.
And it's like a very natural store.
Healthy, yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I totally forgot about that store though.
Dude, that's like a go-to spot
That
for
is.
liver now.
I need to.
Because I'm like, dude.
I don't like onions though, so I don't know if I would do liver and onions.
Bell peppers?
I do bell peppers.
Dude.
Well, so with onions, anything in general that I don't necessarily like, that I don't prefer, like onions, mushrooms, etc. Like as long as they're not the dominant flavor, if you put them in there for flavoring of what you're making, it's fine.
Yeah.
But if it's the dominant, and that's like the hard thing with liver and onions. Onions are.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like.
Yeah, two flavors, and one of them's not so strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm like. If it's because like I'm not a big fan of olives, but when I used to eat pizza, I'd put olives on my pizza. It's not the dominant flavor.
It just adds a little bit.
Yeah, it adds something to it because I'll cook with onion, but as long as it's not the main thing.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, check it out.
I need to go back over there. It's been years since I've been over there.
Do you ever do any like reading into oils, the different oils, cooking oils and stuff?
So I did because again, you want more natural fat when you use the oils. I use avocado oil.
Okay.
Because avocado is one of the best fats you can have. I'm not big on like coconut oil. Yeah. It's too much fat.
It's so distinct.
Yeah.
Taste too.
So I don't use like regular oils. Like, I mean, you can use vegetable oil because again, that's a more natural oil. But avocado oil, because the fat itself, it's a better fat for you. Mm-hmm. So I use that to cook with.
Again, it's funny we're having health conversations right now.
When we used to not care at all.
Yeah, it didn't even matter. You said the foods we used to eat when we were at the fire department. Goodness. But every now and then we would have some good meals.
Yeah.
We cooked them at the station and stuff.
But like
most of the time
it was burgers,
wings,
chicken ranch,
wings from Wendy's. Like,
or
they have wings there.
or
get them.
chimneys from All Subs, things like that.
But anyways, because I was gonna go on to All Subs thing, but I won't. They did this study of the oils, right?
Okay.
Canola and all this stuff. It's where you're using it and how you prepare it. It could be good for you, it could be bad for you. But they said for brain health, extra virgin olive oil.
Right.
The studies they showed with just oils, right? Dude, made me want to drink that stuff, right? It's so good for your mind.
I bake with it.
Dude.
So when I cook on the stovetop, I use avocado oil. When I bake, if it requires oil, I use extra virgin olive oil. Those are the only two oils that I'll use.
Yeah. And we usually keep extra virgin in there, but what they said is don't buy smaller amounts of it.
Yeah.
In glass. Spend the extra money, don't get the plastic because you're in the plastic stuff. And if it's gonna sit there forever, it's gonna absorb into the plastic and stuff. That's not good for you, it's cancer causing. Right. This is the stuff I look into now. But it's funny.
I'll tell you what I've looked into after you finish your olive oil.
But they said like for brain activity, because that's my thing now. Because sometimes I'll be sitting there and I'm like, what was I just talking about? So I'm like, dude, I gotta do some brain health stuff, And that was one of the things. Like, it's super good for your mind. Like your cognitive abilities on the the different oils. And I don't know how or when or how they performed this study, but they said your mind using extra virgin olive oil is 20% more alert than using the other stuff. I'm like 25% is a significant increase from the normal stuff. So I was all, just kidding.
I've done research in water.
Water's scary.
What bottled water to drink. And it come to find out like the three best are like Fiji, Smart Water, and surprising Walmart water.
Really?
Those are like the three best waters you can drink.
See, and I did a water thing too. And I read that I read the Fiji stuff, the Smart Water. Mm-hmm. But then I also read the one I poured before this, Ozark. Because it's filtered but not purified. So you still get the minerals and stuff that your body would need. Right. So I'm assuming it's the same stuff.
That's Fiji. Like with Fiji, why that was like the top.
Yeah.
Was because of the same thing. Because it's still got
they don't extract everything out of it.
Right. They filter it, but to get anything that's not good for your system out. Yeah. And that's the three of those. That's what they do with them. Mm-hmm. Is they're the best three waters you can drink. Yeah. Were those ones. I was like, Walmart water. Yeah. I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, I read the same thing about that Ozark, which is from Texas. We won't go to that, but I was like, I'll spend my money on Ozark water then.
That's it. I mean, I actually use, one of the cool things at my house is I have a well. Well water is amazing, just in itself.
You got it tested to see how good it is for you? Mm-mm. I don't know who you call for that, but
supposedly it's a brand new well too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the water coming through it too. You gotta. I mean, because I think it's. There's a place in Los Chavez that you can take your water to and get tested to see how good it is for you. Because, I mean, dude, well water, most well water that I've ever had, like drinking water out of the hose, Very good.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
But all I do is I bought a water filter for my fridge. So I'll just fill it up and it takes out junk,
Yeah.
but it leaves
Keeps the minerals and stuff you need.
everything I need for it. It's the best water I have. And that's all I'll use. Or if I stop, like say I need to stop and buy water, I'll buy Fiji water, Walmart water, or Smart water. Those are the only three I'll drink.
Fiji's some good waters.
Fiji is some good water. That's why it's so expensive.
The price
People are
tag on it though, yeah.
Well, that's why everyone's like, why is it so expensive? I'm like, because of how good it is.
Mhm.
It's the best, one of the best waters you can drink over the counter.
I had another one too to add to that list. It was Poland ice.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah. The only place I've found it is like fancier gas stations.
Really?
And it's like a bottle like Fiji.
Speaking of gas stations, remember when we used to go see Mom when she lived in Rio Rancho?
Yes.
And we'd always stop at Santa Ana's gas station right there. And we'd always get, like, right across from the casino.
Okay. The newer one? Which one was it? I don't remember.
Right off of Tramway.
Okay.
That gas station right there.
Okay.
We'd always stop there. We'd get some drink. And we'd always get those Muddy Buddies Chex Mix.
Oh, dude.
Always.
Those are good.
Every time. And then we'd take off and acting like it's like a 4-hour drive.
Yeah. We're getting snacks
It's
for
only
a
like,
road
it's
trip.
like a 40-minute
Yeah,
drive
yeah.
from the house, but
Yeah.
we'd always have a drink and we'd stop and get those Muddy Buddies. Because I remember first time I had them was with your mom.
Mm-hmm.
It was like your mom had bought them and you're like, dude, you got to try these. And I'm like,
What are they?
nah.
Yeah.
Just give me a regular Chex Mix. You're like, no. Try these. And I'm like, okay. And from that point on. And then the other thing we'd always get over there too were those, what are they called? Like the pizza ones. The
Combos. Combos are good, dude.
Combos pizza.
Probably super unhealthy for you.
Oh,
But they're
guaranteed.
good.
We
They're
throw it
good.
down. Those are every time. Like I said, act like we're going on a 4-hour drive and it's like 40 minutes
Yeah.
to Mom's house.
No, dude, both of those are really good. I'll still crave those combos. But I mean, I probably couldn't eat a whole bag.
I see them. Like I was in the gas station yesterday and I was buying a water and I'm standing in line. I look to my left and there's all these things and I'm like, I think of it now. I'm like, there was a lot of crap I put in my system.
Yeah.
It's a wonder I was as big as I was. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm like, that's crazy. Like, this is the stuff. I'd eat a bag of that just by myself.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to.
But then now look at like serving sizes, how much you're
Yeah.
supposed to be eating.
Dude, it's crazy.
You're like, we were like
Who cares?
over
Yeah.
4 times
Well,
the limit.
Like, everyone always talks about, like, Halo Top. Okay? Ice cream.
Ice cream. Yeah.
It says it's like 280 calories on the front of the thing and everything. Go read that. It says 280 calories per serving. There's 4 servings in that little container of Halo. And everyone's like, I didn't know
It's
that.
better for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, if you eat the serving size,
Yeah.
not...
You might as well just get a Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. You just, like, it doesn't make... I don't know. I turned into reading things, too, and it's crazy to me, researching so much.
Yeah.
I haven't had ice cream in 4 years. Even the, like, non-dairy ice cream.
I hadn't had ice cream in a while.
Till
But I
Vegas. Yeah.
Until Vegas, and I had Maker's Mark ice cream, and it's pretty good. Which I didn't know. I thought, well, I guess like ice cream's different because I know when you cook with alcohol, it burns the alcohol away,
Right.
and they usually stick with flavor like wines and stuff.
Right. Ice cream will stay in it.
Ice cream's different,
Yeah.
and so I was like, oh, and I thought it just was flavored like Maker's Mark because I like
Oh, yeah.
bourbon. It's like, oh, and I was in, super good. And I had like a little beer,
Then you're all...
and then I was, and I was like, I wonder if that's like the same thing. Because again, reading labels, so I started reading this little thing, and I'm like, oh, it has a percentage of alcohol in this
Yeah.
thing. So I was like, I guess in the process of making this stuff, they're not really cooking anything out. So the thing gets burnt away.
Yeah, that's not how ice cream is made.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, don't worry, we're good. It's cooking out the alcohol.
Yeah.
And I had a beer and an alcohol ice cream. I'm like, this is not good for you.
Dude, I haven't been to Vegas since... I turned 21 in Vegas. Andrew and Monty got married in Vegas, and we all went out there. I turned 21, and today I'm 34.
Dude, it's a long time.
That's the last time I've been to Vegas. When I look at it too, it's like one of those things. Like, what is there for me? I'm sure there's a lot of things to do, but what is there for me there?
Yeah.
Like really, think about what everyone when you talk about Vegas and
What do you
everything
go
that
for?
comes to mind for people is they go party,
Yeah.
they go drink. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm okay. I would like to go see like some type of shows. Like I remember when we were there, Josh went to a Beatles show. It was almost like Cirque du Soleil,
Yeah.
but it was the Beatles.
That's cool.
I'm like, see, I would have went to that. I'll go walk down Fremont Street because that experience is pretty cool. And we went to the Golden Nugget over
A
there.
lot of people there.
Well, we went to the Golden Nugget over there.
So, gee.
Dude, I had steak and shrimp for $8. And it wasn't like, it was a steak. Like, you go pay for that on the strip in Vegas.
Yeah.
And you're spending like $60
But does it make
just
you
for
think?
the steak. No.
No?
At that time, I didn't care.
Oh, okay. But now?
Now, oh
You'd
yeah.
be like, why is it $8?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What's in here?
We saw the signs because I'd never been. Well, I was talking to mom about it, and I don't remember. I probably went when I was young with grandma, grandpa, and mom and dad and everyone, and we probably stayed. I don't think we stayed at Circus, where there's like the rides and games for
I
kids.
stayed at Circus when we were there.
And yeah, it was that was fun being a kid and going in there.
Yeah.
You feel like your own little casino being a kid, And then, but we saw that because I hadn't been downtown. Mom was like, "Yeah, we went downtown." I don't remember it. So this last time we went downtown because I was like, "I don't remember." And there's a very eclectic group of people down there for sure.
Right, yeah.
You gotta have a walk down the street and have a show. You know what I mean? There's
Right.
like weird people.
Right.
Different people, not weird. But yeah, so you see the signs everywhere, the different casinos and spots.
Yeah.
$8.99. I'm like,
But
that's a
why?
killer deal, right?
Right.
And I'm like,
But like, why?
I'm good.
I just remember, and when we went into the Golden Nugget, like where the restaurant was, it seemed to me like when you see old movies of Vegas, that's what that place was like. There was just chaos. There was people gambling everywhere. There was yelling. It was just like this weird environment.
Mm-hmm.
But I had steak and shrimp for like $7, $8.
And it was good? Tasted good?
It tasted from what I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Dude, that's 13 years ago.
Yeah.
From what I remember it was. But I remember we were walking on Fremont Street and I turned 21 and I was with mom and she was like, turn, take a picture. And I turned and I smiled and I got to find that picture because I want to post it from 21 to today.
The difference?
Dude, it's insane. So, but yeah, like, what do you go to Vegas for is just this scene that I haven't been in 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's like a lot of hard stuff with where I'm at in life too, because there's a lot of people that are still in that. And like relationship wise, like there's been a lot of people that are still caught up in that. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't do that. Like I'm way past that.
Like, what's coming to your mind?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm just way past that.
Yeah. I mean, if I was doing what we did then now, dude, I would not be productive.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like, I don't feel as young as I did then.
Right.
And then to eat and drink like that, dude, I would.
There's people my age. Like I know I'm not that much older than you, but there's people my age that are still doing that. I'm like, how?
Yeah, that's what I see, dude.
How?
Yeah. Like party till the sun comes up and then get up the next morning and start drinking again. I'm like, dude, I did that when I was
a lot younger. Yeah. And when I look at it too, like we had our 10-year reunion and where we had it was at the Nob Hill Bar and Grill. So about the Nob Hill Bar and Grill is like before 9 p.m. It's just a regular restaurant. Okay. It's just a regular oldie, it's like going to Chili's, but after 9 p.m. it turns. So we went and I told who I was with at the time, I'm like, I'm not staying past 9. Like 9 o'clock hits, we're gone. And I told people in the little group chat that we had for our reunion, I was like, hey, if people need a ride, we're staying in Albuquerque watching a movie. If you need a ride, don't drink and drive, give us a call, we'll take you home. It's not a big deal. It's like 8:45. We had just finished eating, like we're getting all our stuff together. There was like 2 people that I really went to go see like 3 people. And I saw 2 of them. One was like on the way. So like I was like, let's wait a little bit. He showed up. We talked real briefly. 9 o'clock hit. We left because people started coming in that weren't part of our reunion.
Yeah.
And
that place turns into a club, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
And so literally 9 o'clock, people are coming in for the club scene. We're leaving. 15 minutes later, I get a call from a friend of mine. He's like, dude, you left at the perfect time. I'm like, why? Do people need rides? Like what's going on? He goes, no, remember the guys that we went to high school with that all they did was drink, party, and fight? Yeah.
Still doing it?
They're still doing it. We got kicked out. And I'm like, we're 30.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like, why is this happening? It just blows my mind that people are still caught in that. So it's like, that's why I like Vegas. Like, why would I want to go there?
Mm-hmm. Do you think seeing those people that like you know, because it's been a couple years since the reunion. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all trying to do the math.
Yeah. It's been a few years. Um, is that a confidence booster? Because for me, it is. To see where people are at, to take a step back, because everyone goes through the phases. Right, you're young, you do stupid stuff. You know,
some of them are still caught in that phase.
Still caught in the phase, not really doing anything, not really growing at all.
Well, and it's hard in this generation. Like we're very comparative, right? Like social media has really done that to a lot of people. Like I want my life to be like that. So, you know, there were times that I struggle with like seeing people my age like that are far more advanced in success than I am because of the things that I did in the past. Mm-hmm. So is it a little bit of a confidence? Yeah, because and I don't want to sound like too rude or braggadocious or whatever to these people that are caught in it, but it's like, yeah, because I realized and I got out, and I try to tell people. I've had people message me, hey, I want to stop drinking. How did you do it? Well, here's how I did it. Oh, I can't do that. I'm like, then, like, I don't know. So
you have to really want to stop drinking.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think it's a little bit of a confidence because I'm like, you're people I thought would be far more advanced than I am, and you're stuck in the stuff that I was stuck in 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I wish that you would get out of it so you can experience the life outside of that. Mm-hmm. But a lot of those guys aren't. And like I said, that it was just mind blowing to me that here we are. I want to say I was 29 at the time. I want to say, like, yeah, I'm 29, almost 30. And you guys are in a bar fighting.
Yeah.
What?
Dude, why? That's like my big thing. It's like when you get like weird vibes like that, I'm out. I'm gone.
Yeah.
So in Vegas, because the last time I was there, like we were saying earlier, the situation, Anna was pregnant. We went because it was like a cousins had given us flights and a room. Okay. So we're like, because we usually like, that wouldn't be like where do we want to go? Let's go to Vegas for the same thing. Yeah. So I don't want to spend all the money I have gambling. I don't want to spend all that money.
Right.
Which, I mean, having the drinks and doing the stuff, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But I know, what do they say? Like after 2:00 or whatever, we know what's going to come of it. You're still partying and stuff. And so we went the last time and it was fun. We walked around. We had a nice dinner. We did this stuff. I think I had I had a couple drinks in the room because I didn't want to drink out because I felt uncomfortable, on being pregnant and all the people. I was like, I'm not going to be messed up and something happens and I can't do anything.
Right.
So I was like, I'm good. So I had a beer somewhere for dinner and that was it. And then I went back to the room and I had a couple drinks. And then this time, same thing. Wasn't pounding shots, wasn't pounding all this stuff. So now how I got out of drinking like that is I started having smaller portions. It's like now I'll have like an old fashioned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I'm not doing shots of the cheapest stuff we can get, right? So now I'm spending a little bit more money on the alcohol that I choose to drink. And I'm like, one, and I'm good because...
One, it was more expensive.
Yeah.
Two...
And now I'm not shooting stuff. Like that's the drinks I'll buy now, which we went with Uncle and Auntie's.
Sip on.
They're older, sip on it.
Yep.
And because when I saw Aerosmith, we got a drink before. We had one drink the entire show.
That's someone I wanted to see. Like there's like a list of bands that I wish. Oh, I'm sure. There's like bands, there's artists that I'm like, I want to see before I die or before they die.
Yeah.
One of them was the Eagles, and now that's out.
Yeah.
Because thinking R.I.P. Glenn Fry, you know what I mean? Like that, but Aerosmith is one of them too. It's like they put out some good stinking songs. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. And you guys were like center.
Dude.
You guys were like center.
Yeah. So Uncle and Auntie had seen him a while back. And they asked us, because like, hey, we want to go back and see him again. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
And they're like, would you guys want to go? And I'm like, I never would have probably planned on going to Vegas if it wasn't for something like that, right? So I was like, dude, heck yeah.
That's a good show.
Turns out it was on my birthday, and they're like, we could do that. I'm like, let's do it. I would love to see that, because I mean, it's Aerosmith.
It's Aerosmith, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we went, and dude, we got there, about 45 minutes early. So we sat in our seats, and Uncle told us, because they sat somewhere else different last time when they were there. Same theater, same everything. And he goes, if I remember correctly, the seats we got, you guys are gonna have a good show.
Dude.
And so I was like, sick. I didn't ask any questions. I wanted to see for the first time, right?
Yeah.
And so we sat there, we had our drinks, sipping on our drinks, and they have these screens that drop down. And I start showing like a mini documentary on the band of each member and how they got to Aerosmith, right? It was cool alone, just seeing that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so sick. And the screen goes up, dude. First song I played, Back in the Saddle. And I was like, oh my gosh, dude. And that first
Damn.
note, you know what I mean? He goes,
Yeah.
dude, he's still got it, dude.
He still got it.
Killed.
And
And at one point I was sitting there, dude, and I was just leaning forward. Pretty much the whole time I was probably sitting like this. And I wasn't blinking. Okay, so Auntie looks over. She tells me after, did you like it? I was like, Auntie, I was like, that was amazing, right? That was probably one of the
Best
top
things,
bands I could
yeah.
have seen. And she goes, I looked over and you had no emotion. You weren't like smiling or anything. I was like, oh.
because I was
like,
invested in it.
yeah. And so I was like, I was so into it. I was like, when I remembered to blink, it hurt my eyes. So they're starting to dry out. So I thought, oh. I was like, oh. So I had to like remember to blink. But it was so good. Everything about it was so good.
You know what I like about you going to that show was you didn't show the world that you went to that show. One thing that I was having a conversation on this the other day is like that, like concerts like that. That's not something that a lot of people get to experience. Like seeing a band, like a mega band, classic band like Aerosmith. There wasn't a hour Snapchat, Instagram story or 100 pictures posted. You sat and you enjoyed the moment. That's something I think we're missing. Like that, like I've learned the last few years to enjoy the moment instead of blasting it all over social media or whatever. Like enjoy it. Like we're missing that. You look at concerts and people got their phones up and they're recording and I'm like, but you're missing out. Mm-hmm. We used to go to concerts when I was younger. Like that's all we used to do. Like with Andrew and Josh and stuff. Like we'd work to get concert tickets.
Yeah.
We didn't have cell phones with cameras and like all this, because cell phones were around, but they were like the old Nokia bricks, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so you weren't Snapchatting the moment. Like I remember we went and saw what's that band? Oh my gosh, I just spaced it. Pantera. A week before that dude got shot. Like we encountered that moment.
Yeah, you were there during that time.
Do you know that band Crossfade? I remember we're standing in the crowd for Stained at a concert festival. Okay, we're standing in this thing, and I look to my right, and I'm all, Andrew, and he goes, when I go, Crossfade is literally standing next to me. And we started talking to him, like, what are you doing? He goes, we don't get to enjoy these. He goes, we want to enjoy the moment. He goes, look at this live crowd. And I'm like, dang, like, that's what comes to my mind. Like, we got to enjoy that moment. Mm-hmm. Like, we're so busy trying to encapsulate, like, maybe, because you sent me a picture, but that was before the show started.
After.
Or after.
Yeah.
Like, it was the stage empty.
They had played their encores already.
Right.
And the balloons had fallen and confetti, and then I was like...
That's the stage empty. Mm-hmm. You enjoyed the moment.
Oh, no. And it was it was when they were saying their goodbyes. They redid they announced the band again. That was after the encores. They had dropped all the balloons and confetti, and they were standing on the stage, and I was like, I want to get them on stage.
Right.
Yeah.
But to my point is, like, you didn't document the whole thing. You enjoyed it, and then you took a picture.
Yeah.
And that's what I was with who I was having the conversation with the other day was that, like, I'd rather get, like, a picture before or after to have that memory in my phone to be like, oh, yeah, we did go. Remember when, and then enjoy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that time.
That's why I started this.
Yeah.
Tell stories.
It's just to remember, because we didn't have all that stuff. Because I remember Snapchat first came about, like, when we were hanging out. Snapchat came about, but it wasn't what it is now. But trying to encapsulate that time, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'd rather, I can think back now of, like, concerts we went to, moments I had with friends, with siblings, with things like that. It's not documented. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no video proof.
Just
but
stories.
I remember the best story that lives in my head with me and my brothers was, you know, that road, the road by Dad's, how it has that little hill. Andrew found a shopping cart. He goes, you want to mess with it? And I'm like, yeah. So the three of us go to that little hill, and Andrew goes, let's have fun with this. And he goes, Josh, get inside. So Josh sits in it like normal, because he was the only one that would fit in it. And he goes, you push it, and I'll get on the front. I'm like, right on. So we take off running, and I jump on this basket, and we're flying. And I remember I wanted to, like, get off of it. I was like, this is sketchy. I want to get off because we're going to hurt ourselves. And I, like, go to put my foot down, And I look down, I'm like, oh, we're going way too fast. And I go to put my foot back on the basket, and it slips, and I just, boom, and I face plant. Right? I eat it. And Andrew's on it, and he's all, ha, 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 boom, and he falls on it. And Josh is stuck inside this shopping cart that's going down a hill. And right next to that little hill, there's a ditch. And the shopping cart just starts to angle
You're all,
ever
oh
so.
no.
And like, they had just replaced a speed limit sign because of like something happened with the pole. Well, they cut the pole. So there was a pole about that tall in the ground next to the new one. And Josh just angles right for it. Boom. And he goes flying into the ditch.
Goodness.
And Dad comes driving down the road. And so he's just laid out.
Just
go-
falling out of the ditch.
So what happened? And Andrew goes,
Sorry.
we had a shopping cart. He goes, okay, and just went back to the
That
house.
makes sense. But yeah, with what you're saying about like the not recording and all that stuff, and what you said about the guys from Crossfade, when I had Spanish Jimmy on, we talked about that. And playing music, you don't get those experiences anymore because you're on the stage, and sometimes he said it's like tainted him, like 100%, like because on both ends. Like, he said that because they don't get to enjoy the shows, but also being on the stage is a whole different.
I was gonna
feeling.
say, hearing a crowd is probably a lot.
Yeah, it's really cool. But if I'm there, I'm not thinking about what if I was on the stage. That feeling. I'm like, dude, I'm not on the stage, so I'm gonna soak it all up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I didn't post anything either because I don't like people really knowing what I'm doing. But 2 weeks before that we went and saw Def Leppard,
No, I didn't know that.
Molly Crew,
Dang,
Joan Jett, and Poison.
that's a hell of a lineup too.
Yeah, and so same thing, Uncle Auntie. Hey, well, we bought these tickets 3 years ago.
Yeah.
COVID hit. They kept rescheduling.
Oh.
We went and saw them 3 weeks ago before this one.
Wow.
And so we saw that, and because me and the boys headlined the Whiskey in LA,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that was Molly Crew's spot back in the day. You
Yeah.
know, they were always at the Whiskey. And so I was super stoked to see Molly Crew. And it was bad.
Really?
It was so bad, dude. So we thought Molly Crew was going to headline. Because Molly Crew, right? Def Leppard's a little older. So Joan Jett opened, killed it. Older lady still got it.
Good.
Poison came on. Bret Michaels killed it. You know, still the same energy. And then they started to change the stage, and they were like, "Oh, Molly Crew's not headlining; they're up next." And so I was like, "That's strange. Why wouldn't they headline?" Well, after the show, it made complete sense because who would want to pay? Did I bet you if they headlined, people would be like, "I want a refund, dude." That's how bad it was. Bad.
Was
So,
the
like,
Leopard at least good?
oh my gosh, dude,
Okay.
killed it. So like I said, they're significantly older than Molly Crew.
Right.
Killed it.
Good.
So I'm like, dude, Molly Crew made it. I mean, not Def Leppard made it.
Good.
And so like now we're starting to go back to shows, and like I'm like, I want to see those bands because I did see the Eagles. I saw these bands. And that's what, whenever Josh was on, we talked about shows. He goes, what would be the band that you would want to see if they're not still alive? Who would it be? I said, dude, that's hard. I was like, because I've seen the Eagles. I was like, but I don't remember the entire show. Like, I wish I could go back now and really sit and enjoy it. It's like, so the Eagles is probably the top. I said, then probably David Gilmour, Pink Floyd.
Really?
I was like, or Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. David Gilmour by himself.
I heard Pink Floyd show was like back in the day. They were amazing.
Yeah, and so I know David Gilmour still does stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like, I would pay money to go see that. Like there are certain bands now that I'm like, what's the price tag? I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which the last few shows we went to, they weren't that bad.
No.
We had good seats for both of them, and it was a blast. But I don't want to be, like you said, I don't want to be doing that because you're missing out.
Well, and then what was crazy too, like I love concerts. Like I said, we used to do that when we were younger a lot. But as you just mentioned, the price tag is crazy.
Oh yeah.
Dude, for grass seats for that Morgan Wallen concert, I like Morgan Wallen. I think his sound's different. Like he's bringing something new to that genre. No.
No, because the tickets price?
Yes. For grass, it was $300.
You serious?
Grass. And people paid it, and I'm like, I'll never pay $300 for grass.
I saw someone post on Instagram they were selling their tickets for around that price.
Yeah.
But I thought that's because I knew it sold out,
Yeah.
and they could resell it for that. I didn't know that's what it was.
That's what it was. No, people were reselling their tickets for almost double. People were paying it. It's like $700 for grass seats, and I'm like, you're insane.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
Yeah.
It looked like a great
he's
show.
Good, though. Like you said, he's good.
Yeah, it looked like a great show.
No,
I'm not going to pay that much.
Yeah.
Same thing, Chris Brown came. I don't know if I'd go to it. I do like Chris Brown. I don't know if I'd go to the show. But the cost of it, I'm like, no. We were talking about, I was talking with a friend of mine about going and seeing George Strait in Vegas. Like, that's what I'd go to Vegas for. George Strait. Like, when do you get to see George Strait?
Dad, Mom, Trent, Ave, and I forget who else is going. They're going to that show.
But we looked at tickets, the same thing, and I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. It was like $400 for a ticket.
Yeah, these last ones are somewhere above 2.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying.
Less than 4.
Right, that's what I'm saying though. Like the ones we were looking at, I'm like, it's like $400. I'm
Yeah,
like, I won't do that. Sorry,
yeah.
it's a lot of money.
I would, for a band that I know doesn't have much time.
Right.
Not.
And I agree. Like if like the Eagles were, yeah, I'd probably go do that.
Yeah. Give me a tag.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'd figure it out. Like you said, I'd find a way to do it. But just, I don't know. It's just, it's hard for me to do that. But I do like I like the experience because I do love a good show. Like we talked about John Mayer. That was a great show. You know what I mean? Like I saw Kings. You were there too, weren't you? Dude, that Kings show was amazing. I thought they put on a hell of a show. Like those experiences are nice, but
I'd pay money for Kings again.
I would too. That was a good concert.
Yeah.
I thought they put on a good show in its entirety. The screens, the everything. And it wasn't like the showy thing, but they did everything just perfect.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a good show. Because we were big on Kings at that point in time too. We'd play it every time at your grandma's house, remember? Dude. We'd be sitting over there talking, and on your TV you'd have Kings playing. Because then we watched that documentary.
Yeah, I was going to say, that documentary. Dude,
amazing.
That'll pump you up, regardless of what you want to do in life.
That's why I fell in love with the Eagles too, is because I watched their documentary.
Another one. Dude, those 2 documentaries, I could watch them over and over and not get tired of them.
Who would be the one artist that you would get, dead or alive, that you would like to see, like no cost, like no anything, like one artist you would want to see live, artist or band or whatever, like someone that you would want to see live, like in their prime even.
John Bonham, drummer, insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's he for?
Was that You just makes me kind of off guard with the question. Zeppelin.
Oh.
Yeah. But you're talking like a front guy, like a singer?
Well, no, just in general, like a band or just like any musician or any band, no cost, in their prime, you're going to their show. Who are you going to?
John Lennon.
Dude, that's a good one. I would say the Beatles or Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash is a good one.
Those would be like my 2 that I'd want to see in their prime, doing it.
You drugged up for one of both those shows.
It'd be the best time of my life.
But no, dude, like it's funny. I think me and Dad were talking about, just a normal day. Stuff you see online with, politics and everything across the board, whatever subject it is. We're seeing so much more of it now because of social media and having the internet. And he was like, dude, and he said something like, it's crazy out there. I'm like, yeah. But it's always been crazy, man.
It's just more amplified.
Yeah.
I agree.
We just, it's always been like this. We just never saw it.
Yeah.
Like even like, I don't know what video it was. I don't know if it was The Dirt or another Motley Crue thing, but they're like, dude, if we were that big now, we couldn't do anything that we did because of, you know what I mean? Then it was just word of mouth.
Right.
I think it was Tommy Lee's like, yeah, we have chicks with us, all this stuff. He goes, but it's word of mouth.
Right.
Yeah, I hooked up with that guy or whatever. The drummer for Motley Crue. Now you got to worry about videos and pictures, all that stuff. He goes, there's no way. No. He's like, I don't know how these new guys do it. Well, I mean, they're probably way crazier than that.
What I'm saying, like some of them aren't even worried about it.
Yeah.
Like
they don't care.
Some of them still get caught up in it or whatever. It's just their lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. But what's cool about even in that, like this is where I thought you were going with it, was like in the day-to-day, music is a big part of my day-to-day. Like I can't do anything unless there's music. Like I love the background of having music playing. Like if I'm working and like say I'm in the office at my house, I have a record player in there.
Yeah.
And I'll just throw on a nice record and have that playing in the background while I'm getting my work done.
Cooking to music.
Yeah. Like pretty much everything that I do has music in it. If I'm driving, going on a long drive, music is on. But it all changes day to day and depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like I want certain sounds for certain things.
Yeah.
When I'm driving, it's, I don't want to say like a slower, but it's not like
crazy.
Yeah, like when I'm at the gym.
Yeah.
When I'm at the gym,
crazier.
When I'm at the gym, I have like gangster rap in my ears because like just the beats, the everything like that just like gets me going. But like when I'm in the car, I need something that's gonna keep me awake, but that is singable too.
Not so crazy. You have anxiety while you're
Yeah,
driving.
I'm like jamming out, like
Yeah.
yeah, no, like, but and then like you said, like cooking, there's a different sound for that. There's just I don't know, because music is just I love music. I'm not talented in it in any regard, but I love music.
Yeah.
I love just the artistry behind music.
Oh yeah. I forgot what it was. Two things on music. Nate from Spartan, shout out Spartan. I was showing him a song or something one night because we used to go over there all the time, and he'd be like, "Yeah, it's good." I'm like, "What do you mean it's good, dude? This is insane." He goes, "It's not the same." He goes, "You feel when you hear it, you feel what it would take to make that right." He's like, "You hear music differently than most normal people," and I was like, "Dude, I never really thought about that. I guess that's true." And then with what was I gonna say?
With his perspective, though.
His perspective is different, and then with the styles of music, like you said.
Yeah.
Whenever I did 2 shout outs in a row, I guess. Whenever I did Against the Grain podcast, shout out Against the Grain. They asked before shows, like, it's like the same thing. What kind of music do you want to get pumped up and stuff? And I said, if I listen to, like, if it's a big show, which we haven't played a big show in quite a while. We just stick to smaller shows, but like a big show, big crowd, or a big venue, I listen to something way different than most people would think. And I told a whiskey story. We somehow got to headline the whiskey. And we're sitting in the green room. And I said, all right, put in my earbuds until we go on. And they're all right. So it was Tyler Kane was with us on that tour.
Yeah.
And the boys and mom and dad, we were in the green room. I said, all right, you guys, we hung out for a while. I don't know if we had any drinks in there. I don't think we did. But we're just hanging out, sitting there, just soaking it up. First band goes on. They play their hour set. Second band goes on. Third band goes on. I was like, all right.
I'm zoning. Yeah.
Zoning in now. And on repeat for 45 minutes, I listened to Love by Fresh Life Church.
Wow.
And they were like...
That's not where I thought you were going
to
go either.
And so I go, dude, because you can get so worked up.
Yeah.
And maybe it's different for everyone else. But it's like playing drums, like, you got to keep that time. And I don't want to listen to, even though I like heavy stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to heavy, fast stuff because I'm going to want to play heavy and fast, right?
Right.
That's not the music we play for
Slower
one.
tempo.
Slower, calm me down.
That makes sense.
Stay in the zone.
I like it.
And yeah, I listen, repeat, it's 45 minutes. You've never heard that song. That's a pump up song. You're like, you just want to do something.
And me, so before a game, I'll be listening to that up tempo. About to go play a football game. I got to go coach this football game. There's going to be a lot of up tempo. There's going to be a lot of the adrenaline's got to get going, like type deal. So I listen to something.
Build it.
Yeah, so I get something. All our pregame, that's what I'm listening to, is something to do that. Whether it's like rock, rap, something like that, just to get that high tempo. But when we come home, win, lose, or whatever, when I'm going home, either the radio's off, or I do that too. I'll put on like Christian music.
Yeah.
And I'm just calming down.
Yeah.
Because that adrenaline dump is hitting, and now I got to bring it down so I can try and sleep.
Right? That's a doozy too.
So, and especially after a loss, it's so hard to sleep because then all these things are running back in my mind. Because the guys play on the field, but I'm calling the plays on the field. So all this stuff, I could have, I should have, I would have, or blah, 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 blah. So all this stuff's playing. Then plays are replaying in your head. So it's just like, I have to find something to
get you out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Relax me.
I get that, dude.
Because if not, I'm up all night. Because like the other night, I didn't do that. And I had to drive to Las Vegas, New Mexico, for work after a game that we lost. And I didn't calm myself down.
Right after?
Not right after, like the next day.
Okay.
I didn't get home until like 11:30.
Yeah.
And then I had to drive to Vegas at like 7 a.m. I didn't fall asleep until like 2 o'clock because I didn't do what I normally do to bring myself down.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't sleep.
Dude, yeah, it's a tough one. I probably should. Like they say, even like comedians say, record your sets. Whenever you're on stage, record them so you can look back.
Yeah.
I hate watching videos of me playing because I know in the moment,
Yeah.
I messed up.
Oh.
I hope they didn't hear that. And usually mom's like, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I blew it right there.
There's a lot of people that won't hear it.
Yeah. And so, but like hearing it again, I'm like, don't show me that. I lived it, okay? I don't want to hear it again. Cause right away it stuck out. Even it shows. That's like a thing now, it shows. I try so hard. Because, I mean, and that's what I was telling Uncle and Auntie. Even Aerosmith. Mistakes in it, right? They're not perfect. They're dudes who are playing their music. It's bound to happen. You're going to have a little hiccup. And there was a couple hiccups, and I was like, but I didn't want them. I don't want those bands to have hiccups.
Yeah.
Because it's Aerosmith, right?
Right.
But it made me feel better. I'm like, oh.
Aerosmith had a hiccup.
Aerosmith had a hiccup. You know what I mean? A little motivator. Like,
Yeah,
that stuff happens. And that's kind of what, like, whenever, like, something like that, where you got to get your head out of it, is like, oh, the pros have mistakes.
Yeah.
If you watched that game last night, my goodness.
Well, and that's the thing, though, like how you're talking. We have game film. So I have to study that film again. And I
relive it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's miserable.
Yeah.
It is so miserable. And we
do.
usually do film the very next day. And I'm like, this is still fresh.
Yeah.
It's pouring salt on an open wound.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but yeah, like that's a good perspective. I haven't had that perspective of even in the pros they have mistakes. Coaches, players alike, they have the mistakes.
Yeah.
Like we're a high school team.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have those mistakes.
Yeah.
So that's good perspective. I never thought of that.
And what the person who put that into my head was my father-in-law. Because last year I got real big into golfing, and then I take Tyler Kane with me. There's a lot of golfing stories we could tell too, but so I got real big into golfing, not drinking so much, right? Just going to golf to enjoy it. It could be an age thing, whatever it is, but so I started golfing, and I would take Tyler Kane with me. He moved to Florida, so I didn't have like a buddy to go with.
Right.
And so I asked Trent, hey, you ever thought about golfing? He's like, no. So you want to try it? He goes, yeah, sure. So I took him one time, and I've taken my cousin Michael and a couple other people, and they're like, this is horrible. This sucks. I'm like, if you have one good shot, you're addicted.
Yeah.
You're addicted. And so he had one good straight shot. And he was like, oh, you have that feeling. You're like, dude, I want to do it again.
I just did that.
I just did that. And I was like, dude, that's what it takes. You need one good shot. So I told Trent, you need one good shot. You're going to be horrible.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad. So, but give it some time. And Trent's pretty competitive.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's only with Trent that I get competitive. So once he caught up to me, because he's younger and, he caught up to me pretty quick, right? He started going with me all the time. So there was a time there we went I probably went 6 times in a month. I was doing it a lot. And now I'll do maybe twice a month I'll go. But the last time I went was with Trent. And it's been, before now it's starting to get cool, but it was in the middle of the summer. And Trent's like, I'm going to play 18. I'm like, dude, it's too hot to play 18. I don't want to be out there. I'm outside all day for work anyways. I don't want to be outside and do that too. So I'm like, I'm just going to play 9. So he played the front 9 by himself. Met him up there for the back 9. He goes, let's wager this. It's like, betting on this, dude? He goes, $1. And I was like, oh, yeah. A friendly competition for $1. I was like, I can do that. And because he's super competitive, I'm like, dude, I can't let him beat me. And we both played good.
Yeah. He
had a couple bad shots, a couple bad holes, and so did I. But he had one that was bad. I was like, oh, dude. And I think I parred that hole. And I was like, oh, dude, I got ahead of him now. Like, we're good. And at the end, we got up the scores to be tied.
Oh, my gosh.
And, it was 52 for 9. And I was like, dude, that was good. We did good.
Yeah.
We went and played Socorro. We've been traveling around, playing
nice.
different courses and stuff. And that's been, my thing, too, is I feel like to get out of your, say, old ways, for lack of a better term, to get yourself out of that, you got to do things that you've never done before.
It's a release.
Yeah. So I'm like, I've been golfing with Grandpa and Uncle a couple times.
Yeah. We've gone golfing.
But we've gone golfing, and I never really enjoyed it. But I was like, I had fun. Yeah. But I never really enjoyed golfing.
Yeah, because we'd screw around.
Yeah.
It was more the going and doing something with people you enjoyed being around.
Yeah. And so now I got into it, and now it's the same. Now I can enjoy playing because I got to a point where I can have fun and I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm decent. But to go back, that mindset and how I got that is I was talking to my father-in-law. I'm like, dude, I blew it. And he goes, you realize that pros miss the green 50% of the time?
Yeah.
Or miss the fairways? I was like, oh, yeah. He's like, you're good. Happens to the pros.
That's crazy.
And I was like, dude. And so I kind of professionals mistakes every time. It's no one has a perfect game. If everyone had a perfect game, whether that's a perfect show, a perfect game, perfect whatever it is, there's never a perfect
Ever.
show or something.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I like that perspective because I never thought of it that way. Because I'm a perfectionist in the things that I do. And like, it gets very frustrating for me, like when, like the last few games and stuff, like where we've had these things, like where I've made mistakes and like I get so frustrated because I prepare very well for these things. So for me to have these faults and these mistakes, like it's frustrating. But to have that perspective now, that's actually going to help me a bunch
It's big.
now from today forward.
And we both know that, right?
Yeah. But you don't,
everyone makes mistakes, but you don't apply it.
and you don't think of it that way. So that's a good perspective to have. I'm going to actually start teaching that too, because I'm going to apply it and start teaching it because, we're human.
It's simple.
So simple, but big.
But you forget.
One of the biggest things that I preach is little details have big outcomes.
100%.
That's a little detail.
Yeah. It's a booster, dude.
I like it.
Even in the moment when you know you're like, I blew it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. And you can quickly
Professionals
get back into the zone, realizing that professionals.
That's good.
Yeah. But before we go any further.
Dude, I haven't gone golfing in years.
Let's go, dude.
I haven't gone
Go all the
golfing
time.
in years.
It's usually me and Trent. Or me, Trent, Dad, or me, Trent, and my cousin Michael.
I haven't gone in years.
It's so much fun. Especially when you have a good game.
Yeah.
Like, because I think the first few times I went, dude, I played like a 140, 150 at 18. I'm like, that sucks, dude. Because you hear guys, oh yeah, I played a 90 and 18. I'm like, how the heck did
I think the last time I played, I got like a 102 in 18.
And so now, I'll have my moments, but I told Trent we have to, because we would go play 9. That's how it started. We would just go and play 9. I said, we're not going to book an 18 hole tee time until we make our first par. That was our thing. We want to take it a step at a time. We'll play 9 until we make a par, then we'll go play a full round. Yeah. And, one of these days, I think we probably made pars together that day. And all right, let's do an 18 now. No, we blew it. Right? That was horrible. But then together, like me and Trent with golfing, we had a lot of the same moments in the same days. Like, I think it was probably the same day we probably broke 100 for the first time. Wow. And just stuff like that. But it's pretty cool. Like, I do music and golf.
The last time I went golfing was when they opened everything back up from COVID. That was the last time I went golfing.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
Just to Bologna. Yeah. They were doing like a little deal that day. So we're like, let's go.
Yeah.
And that place was packed.
You been to Socorro?
No, but I heard it's a beautiful course.
Dude, you don't feel like you're in Socorro. It's nice, dude.
Hate Socorro. Really?
Yeah. Dude, so nice. And I was like, we had heard about it, even Grandpa and everyone else. Try Socorro. It's not very far and super nice. So one day we were like, all right. And I think Trent had went maybe once before, or that was our first time together. And we get there and we're like, whoa. You don't feel like you're in Socorro.
Well, because it's on campus.
Yeah.
And that campus, when you're on campus, doesn't look like Socorro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like somewhere upstate New York.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah. Maybe not upstate New York. That's a bit of an exaggeration. But for New Mexico,
it's like nice. Almost like a California type area.
Yeah, it's nice.
Because even the buildings and such look like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we should go.
Let's go.
But we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and finish this off. All right, we're back. Gonna finish it off. Talked about a lot. Stuff that's made us who we are today. Right? The good times, the bad times. And that's just life, right?
Yeah.
It's just
where we go.
Until you die.
Right.
You're going to have those ups and downs.
Right.
But I feel like people sometimes get stuck in those downs and those lows. And it's sad to see, right? But then they got to, us, most people would say there is highs and lows in life. And, that's just the way it is, right? You can either take something from it or get stuck in the lows. And that's what it is. Right. The only way to get to the highs is to learn something from the lows and improve.
Correct.
And grow.
Correct.
And we've had a lot of lows. Together we've had a lot of lows. Yeah. We've had a lot of highs. A lot of alcohol, a lot of food, a lot of very unhealthy stuff. But like we were talking, like I wouldn't change that. Not one bit. I wouldn't change it. I wish we could have done it a different way.
Yeah. There's always that perspective.
Yeah.
Of maybe a different avenue.
Yeah.
Not necessarily changing the growth process, but how you went through the growth process might be a little different. I can agree with that.
Um, so if people, I mean, look him up on Instagram. Do you have Facebook too?
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, Jeff Baca. It's a pretty inspiring story of your personal life there. Yeah, it was funny. I was talking to Grandma before I go into this. I was talking to Grandma, and I was like, "Oh yeah," and I was telling her my lineup of the first handful of people that I'm gonna have on, and she was like, "Jeff," and I go, "Yeah." And she's like, "He looks good." And I said, "Yeah, he looks good." So if you didn't know him before this, look him up. Like I said, very inspiring because you do not look the same
At all.
You're the same person, right?
Yeah.
If you've ever met you, you personality have not changed one bit
At all.
just physically.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you get on the what started first, or was it kind of together? The not drinking and the health, or was it not drinking and then it was a while before the health came
Yeah,
in?
it was not drinking first. So, as far as the social media thing goes, if you do look me up and you do find it, a lot of people gave me a lot of flack for this. Like when my life changed, not just physically or whatever, but spiritually, there was a lot of old stuff. I've literally kept everything logged. It's like I have like 1,000 some posts, and everyone's like, "Why don't you delete that stuff?" Again, I said it's a timeline. You can see the transition.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep it for that purpose. You can see the transition from the first days on Instagram to like I posted something probably 3 days ago. You can see that transition happen. And to answer your question, it was drinking first that went away. The last time I drank was Christmas night. We were at Jericho's. It was Christmas night. This year will be 9 years, and that was just a eye-opening time. Because like you said, we went through something kind of similar. I was with someone for 5 years. We ended. I was working like 3 jobs, like all this stuff, and we'd go party all the time. And I remember losing 2 of those 3 jobs, and I moved back in with Dad. And I just remember laying there Christmas night, just like, what is happening? What am I doing? I believe that makes me 25. I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? This is getting me nowhere. It's literally taking everything from me. My health is suffering. My relationship is gone. My work's deteriorating. They're about to repo my car because I wasn't paying it. I'm living back in my dad's house. Like, what is happening? And
To boost you though, real quick, 25 is not a bad age.
no, it's not.
To realize.
Yeah, it's not. At the time, I thought it was a bad time because you look at a lot of people, and again, the comparative. I'm 25 and I don't have my crap together. Like, what am I doing? Like, get it together. And that's basically what happened that night. And not to, like you said, we have a lot of the same background, the same belief. Not trying to get too, because that's not what you're trying to do here. But the story is, I looked to my left and I had my nightstand there and there was a Bible on it. And I just remember laying there going, I've been going to church. The girl that we just broke up with, she actually took me to church. Her mom bought me this Bible. All right, God, talk to me. You say you're a living God. You say that you speak to us through this. I need to hear you. I need to hear you because I need your help in this. And I just remember opening it at the top was Psalm 50:15. Call upon me in your day of trouble. I will deliver you and you will glorify me. Yeah, dude, it was just insane. And I'm laying there and I just start bawling. And I'm like, all right, you're alive. You are who you say you are. Help me.
It's on me now.
When not even that, I told him, I was like, help me. I prayed that. I was like, God, help me. I can't do it. I need your help. Take it from me. And if you remember, that was the last. Because we hung out that New Year's. A week later, we hung out that New Year's. And I drank nothing but water.
Where were we? I remember.
Rico's.
Oh, okay.
I drank nothing but water that night on New Year's. And after that, like alcohol to this day, I don't care if people, like, we've been around each other. And there's only been twice since that time that I wanted to drink. One was probably like 2 months after I stopped. That I was like, I could use a drink, and like I wanted to drink. No, that didn't happen. Then the second time was when we bought Hunter's dad.
Johnny Blue.
that bottle. And everybody was trying it. And everybody was just making it sound so tasty that I was like, I want to drink it so bad. But I was like, no, I left. I don't know if you remember that either. I left. And everybody was calling me, like, where'd you go? I'm like, I had to get out of there because I wanted to drink it. And yeah, I haven't had a drop since then. So the not drinking came first. And I substituted my alcohol with food and sodas. Like bad.
It probably made you feel just as bad.
Yeah. And I want to say, like I said, I think at the time I was weighing 360 pounds, maybe more. And I remember we went to a conference with the church to Tucson. And where my room was and where you had to get breakfast, you crossed in front of the weight room that they had. And they had a pretty good size. So most hotels, it's like a real small little gym. This was like a pretty big size. And the whole back wall was mirrors. And the windows, you could see yourself as you're walking through. And I remember just walking by and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a big dude. That is a big man. And Maverick and I were there. And that night, everyone was like, we're going for ice cream. And I remember him and I were like, let's go to the gym and work out while all of them were getting ice cream. Little did we know they were going to be gone for like 2.5 hours. So we were in the weight room for 2.5 hours. And he was like, we should get gym memberships when we get back. And I'm like, I'm down. And from that point on, I've been in the gym at least minimum 3 days a week for 5 years.
And did food change right away?
Yeah. Because the study says 70% of what you do is diet. 30% is exercise. So I can work out all day, but if I'm we did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu together. Like I was a very active big man, but what was I putting in my system? Mm-hmm. So
counteracting any hard work you're trying to put
into it. It was just this redundance, right? And so learning that, the food had to change right away and stuff started coming in, stuff started going out, and it just started going back and forth with what worked, what didn't. And I want to say for the first year, a good 60 pounds flew off like fast. And then that was just water weight. And then having to do more research on what's going to be beneficial for my system.
I think that being healthy, like eating right, like I said, we look at labels and stuff now, and it's like, I think that's a cool thing now. Mm-hmm. Like, I never would have thought that I'd be looking at labels for, but like when you're eating better, granted, like this last weekend, I can't control, because we were with Uncle and Auntie. Yeah. So,
majority says,
I'm going to try and eat, I'll try and do better and trying to stuff, but out there, I'm like, you know what?
We're on vacation.
It's okay. And so I had whatever they were having. They took me probably the best pizza I've ever had in my life. Like best sandwiches. We had good food. Probably wasn't the best for you, but my goodness, it was amazing. Yeah. And then Uncle and Auntie are pretty healthy too when they're at home. Right. But on vacation or something, like, let's just do it. And they're both very active and trying to stay healthy and stuff too. But, whenever we get together, it's having drinks and having...
Is this the aunt and uncle that I met at your grandma's at one time?
Yes, probably.
Okay. Like they lived in Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, still in Arizona. But it's cool to see, like, because you're like you said, what is it? Little changes make a big difference.
Little details have a big outcome.
Yeah, and that's the thing for like food.
Yeah.
Like if you watch these things and you never looked at before, you're like, oh, and you feel better having knowledge.
Yep.
Is it in the knowledge is power?
Yeah.
Knowing like your foods and what to eat, for what you want to do to get to your goal, right?
Yeah.
You need these things, and you have to know these things. Because if you just worked out and you're eating whatever, like you said, you didn't know, but now that you know, it makes it a little bit easier.
Well, and it's crazy too, because like one of the things that was mind blowing to me this last year that I've been doing something a little different. So I've been trying to cut body fat percentage, and I was told eat more, and I'm all, what?
Eat more or less?
No, eat more, like eat more good stuff.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. My calories are set for 2,400 a day. I have to eat all 2,400 calories a day.
Is it to keep your metabolism up?
Yes.
Okay.
But the stuff, like the amount of protein that I intake a day is like 250 grams of protein a day.
It's hard.
And but in my mind, I'm like, that doesn't make sense, right? Like for years, and that's been the biggest mind trick that I've had to do for years. I've been on a calorie deficit because I'm trying to cut weight, but I'm on a body fat percentage cut. I don't necessarily have to eat less to cut. I have to eat the right things with this amount. And just that's been the mind trick. And it's hard to get to that point, but I've been getting there. In I started this in, what are we in, September? So I started at the end of July. And from July to, I think last week I looked, I've dropped 5% body fat just because of the way I've been eating. The exercise hasn't changed.
Science, dude.
Just the way I've been eating. And I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's been a mind trick because for years I'm coming in 900 calories short plus my exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going to cut weight. But now I'm cutting weight. My weight fluctuates. So I'm anywhere between 220 and 225. But the body fat percentage is dropping. And it's showing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's insane. Like, it just the mind mess up that I had with that because I had to eat more. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I have 2 protein shakes a day plus my meals.
Do you, so obviously you have like your routine.
Mm-hmm.
What time do you wake up?
Depends on the day and depends on what has happened the night before, but I'm up I'd say between 5:30 and 6:30 every morning.
With your routine now, is that easier?
With my age, it's not easier.
Yeah.
No, it's...
But like once you get into a routine, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. Like this morning, I was actually up earlier than that, and I don't know why. I think I went to bed a little earlier last night. I only sleep probably about 5 hours a night anyway.
Have you ever done like that REM sleep thing?
Mm-mm.
Do you have is that an Apple Watch?
Yeah.
Have you seen the new one that could track that stuff?
No.
I don't have any Apple besides the Mac, but the new watch will track your best sleep. And that's what they say. You want to sleep this much. That's when you're getting the best sleep. Because otherwise you feel groggy, you feel whatever. And so I'm like, dude, I wouldn't mind having that Apple Watch
just for that.
Just for that. Because, like you said, age is a big thing now. So I'll be like, oh, I need 8.
Yeah.
I need 8. That's not the case. Mm-hmm. You just need those few hours, those good hours of sleep.
When I actually read a study that says it's better that you have twice a day 4 hours of sleep.
2 4s.
2 4s.
See, but I can't nap.
I can't either. So that doesn't make sense to me. Like I read that that's a thing. Like it's rare. I have to be extremely exhausted for me to nap. And when I do, because of the fire and EMS world that we were in, 15-minute naps.
Yeah.
And then I'm good for another however long I need.
Yeah.
But I sleep about 5 hours a night, maybe a little more. It just depends on how tired I am. Like after games, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I'll get a little more. I'll get like 6, maybe 7. But I get 5 hours every other night. I go to sleep probably about 12:30, and I'm up at 5:30, 6 o'clock every day.
Side story. I don't know who I was telling. I think the best sleep.
I know where you're going with this.
The best sleep.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
To this day, right? I don't think I've ever slept as good, right? Unless like you said, you're completely exhausted.
Yeah.
And then, maybe I could take like a 30-minute nap, right? But like now, my everyday stuff, getting up early for work and then getting home and like I feel exhausted, but I know I'm not gonna take a nap. And if I do, it's probably gonna mess up my sleep later. So I don't take a nap. I try and do something to stay active.
This is hilarious.
But my best sleep was we were both in the fire department, and I mean I would say your adrenaline's pretty much going the entire time you're there because you don't know what's about to come through in a call.
You don't know when it's gonna drop
or when it's gonna drop or what it is or anything. And so adrenaline's like it's just nonstop, and it's kind of hard to sleep.
Yep.
For me, it was very hard to sleep. Until I heard you.
When we shared a room.
Because we all share a room. We always slept in the same room. It wasn't in the same bed, even though I wouldn't have minded that. But it was...
We wouldn't have fit.
Yeah. Maybe now we would have been
Now we would, but then no.
But yeah, and you would like do a big exhale.
And it was almost like a moan. Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And in my head, I'm like, okay, he's relaxed enough that he can go to sleep. I was out because I was so nervous. And you did it like way longer than I did it. You know, and then, so then I was like,
if I was content in falling asleep, you could be.
I could fall asleep and I would crash out after that. And then, most times we'd get a call a couple hours later, whatever it was. But like, that was some of the best quick sleep That's probably like that REM sleep they talk
Yeah.
about, dude. You know, those few
Because
hours.
we're comfortable.
Because you were comfortable,
Yeah.
you were the most relaxed, and you slept the best. Instead of sleeping 10 hours, you got 3 of really good sleep. And even in a call, when you wake up, you're like, oh,
Let's do this.
I don't feel tired, you know? But yeah, I have to do a little side note. Because I still talk about that. I'm like, if I'm laying there and I can't sleep, I'm like, damn, I wish I could hear Jeff.
That was,
Yeah.
I remember you told me that one time. I'm like, if you tell people this outside of here, they're going to question our friendship.
Yeah. They
To
still
be a
do.
little more, yeah.
People still.
But, but sleep, yeah, sleep's never been an issue for me. I've always been pretty good with running on minimal, but I do get better sleep. I do sleep pretty solid, for that little bit of time that I do. And I do attribute it to, like, so many things have gotten better, because of my healthier eating and such. Like teeth. My teeth are a lot better. And I was told this my entire life that they correlate.
Yeah, 100%.
And you hear it, but you don't care to apply it or whatever. But then when I started getting healthier, like I could feel my teeth better. And like when I go get cleanings and stuff, they're like, your teeth are really nice. Like you don't have cavities, you don't have this, you don't have that. They're like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I'm not a fat guy anymore. So
Yeah.
that plays into it as well. But yeah, so much stuff is correlated with the health. People freak out, like even today. There's no way you're 34. Yeah, you don't look 34. I'm like, I don't feel 34 either. I know some 34-year-olds that are like
Haggard.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm probably in the best shape I've ever been in my life.
Oh, 100%.
So I'm like, I don't
Because
even
you were
feel-
never in this
No.
shape.
ever. Even when I was in high school and younger, because I wasn't like as big as I was in high school. I think the heaviest I was in high school was probably like 280. But in coming out of that, I just kept eating and got bigger. And now, I mean, like I said, I fluctuate between 220 and 225. Best shape I've ever been in.
Yeah.
I had pneumonia. This is how good a shape I was in. I had pneumonia. It was treated awful by one. I'm not going to put him on blast, but I was treated awful by one kind of urgent care type place. I go to the urgent care in Belen. He goes, I don't know what they did to you, but they screwed you up. You have 80% of your right lung is full. Had you not come in here today, you would have died. I'm like, well, that explains why I can't talk. And so I had pneumonia. He gives me this medication. He goes, by Saturday, you're going to be feeling great. I'm like, okay. Saturday rolled around. Dude felt great. I went and ran a 5K that Saturday.
Do you work out in the mornings or the afternoons?
Depends. Because of like
The late night, early.
Yeah, it just depends on because of work schedule. Like today I went this morning just because I couldn't sleep and I was
Yeah.
awake, so I was like, yeah, screw it, let's go get a workout.
Do you think that changes anything with habit forming, or do you think you're in a place where doesn't matter when you do it, you're getting it done?
Yeah,
and
that's just how I am. Yeah, because I know a lot of people like the morning stuff and I've heard a lot of studies on this too. It helps with your functionality of your day to do it in the early morning. It's the same thing. Like I always tell people, make your bed in the morning because you're accomplishing something. So if you go to do a workout, you've accomplished something. So that sets the tone for your day.
Yeah.
It just depends on with me because like usually when I'm awake that early, I'm already starting to get some work done because I coach, so I have to go to practice. So I have to get this work done before practice, and I usually go to the gym after practice. That's just when we're in season. When I'm not in season, just whenever I can find the time to go get it done.
How long did it take you, or was it right away that you had the habit of once a day, or like you said, 3 times a week now? Because even that, for some people, is very hard.
No, it took, I want to say it probably took about a year, maybe a year and a half. Because I used to rely on going with somebody. If nobody was there, I could find any and every excuse not to go. But when somebody's like, hey, let's go to the gym, let's go. Now that person's counting on me to be there, and I'm not there. You get what I mean? So it probably took me about a year and a half to just be like, no, just go get it done. I'd even walk to the gym.
How long do you go for?
So currently in the type of workouts that I'm doing now, it's I'm between an hour to an hour and a half.
That's what I say. Some people think you have to go for hours to get the stuff you want to accomplish.
45 minutes. 45 minutes. It's statistically proven that your body will start burning after the first half hour. That's when you're going to get the best burn. is after the first half hour. So if you go 45 minutes, you're at the best point of that burn. So that's why I would only go for like an hour, just get whatever I need done. But now, because I'm trying to do certain things, it takes a little more time. But I go between an hour to an hour and a half.
Do you start with cardio when you warm up?
No,
Just
I stretch. The workouts that I'm doing now, you kind of do these things as well to help open up and warm up the muscle. Like today I did chest. I start off with 50 push-ups, 2 sets of 25. And that opens my chest up. Now I jump right into my chest workout right after that. And I'll stretch prior to the push-ups.
Do you think there are benefits? Some people have like a weird thing, and I don't get it. What do I know? I'm not a very smart guy anyways, you know what I mean?
Stop.
But like a weird thing with yoga.
Right.
I think, personally, I think it could be very beneficial.
Oh, it's very beneficial.
Yeah.
I don't do it. So there's a guy that coaches with me and he goes to the same gym and stuff. And like, he's very high on the mobility and flexibility. Our weight training coach for our football team, they do yoga every Thursday. It helps with your mobility. Yeah. It helps with your recovery too, because you're helping these joints, these muscles.
Yeah.
I should probably do it.
Same.
But I don't.
Yeah.
I used to with a girl that I was with for 5 years. Her and I used to do a yoga class, and I was getting better results out of it because of that. I just stopped.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy in a yoga class. I don't know. I always felt weird.
Try Knoxville.
Yeah. I let it fart out or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. But on the bike, and since we had moved, I haven't really done it consistently again, just because of getting used to a new place while we're building and stuff. But at the house, I would do like 2-3 miles easy, not turned up, and then I would crank it, turn it hard, and then I would do 10, and then I turn it back down for another 2. So I was doing 14 on the bike.
Oh, that's good.
And I felt good.
Yeah.
You know, even though I was trying to do it once a day or a couple times. If I couldn't do it once a day, I was doing it like a couple times a week. Just because I didn't do something. With work, I'm walking. I think I did I wore Anna's Fitbit one time. And dude, it was like 20 miles of walking I do a day.
Yeah.
So I'm active all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, I could do a little bit more. So I wanted to do that. So we bought that and I started doing that. And then even just that little bit in the morning or the afternoon. And I couldn't do it in the morning because I have to be up early. I don't want to get up at 4. It's just a lot for me, right?
Yeah.
Especially with Oliver. I don't want to get up at 4 to do an hour of this. But I felt good. You feel good.
Yeah.
And like you said,
how I started.
Stuff.
That's how I started, was with the bike at the gym.
Yeah.
Was I didn't know what so I knew kind of what I was doing, but I didn't know entirely what I was doing. I'm going to a gym too that it's very person friendly. Like,
No, I got you.
anyway.
There's really no
Yeah, they
curriculum.
right, and then I mean, when you have bagels and pizzas on Fridays, like, that doesn't help. I know why they do it now from a marketing point. Like, hey, you're still going to eat this bagel, so you're going to want to come back here and work out. Anyway, I would do little things, a little bit of weightlifting, but I would do more of the cardio aspect, because what do they always tell you? To lose weight, you have to do... That's not true. So I still do bike riding and such, and I still do cardio days, don't get me wrong, but that's not the main focal point. You don't have to do cardio to be in shape. Unless that's the shape you're looking for. You know what I mean? Like, that I want to be a bike rider.
Yeah.
Well, then you have to do that stuff to get in shape.
I don't know if they still do it, but I'd be down to train to do it with you. Dad and I had a conversation on the podcast, which it should be released in the next week or 2 weeks. He did it untrained on a bike from the 40s. He did the Tour de Taos. And that is what do you say, 100 and...
Up, down.
It starts you in Albuquerque and you ride around the mountain.
I heard about... A friend of mine just did that.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. A friend of mine just did that. And it's like... Yeah, he did. He stopped and put on his social media, like, and he was talking about stuff. They were at mile 80 when he stopped and did it.
Yeah. So Dad said that he stopped and he was laying down about three quarters of the way of the first day, which the first day is like 90 miles or something
That's
like
crazy.
that. And he goes, dude, I was done.
Yeah.
I said, well, what? Because he just wanted to do it because him and a buddy, he said, let's do it together.
Yeah.
His buddy didn't show. They didn't have cell phones then. So he's like, oh, I'm here. I'm going to just try it. Just do it. And he goes, dude, I didn't train. And Dad's athletic. He's always been athletic.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm going to try it.
I'd be down.
And he goes, dude, I stopped and I'm laying there like I'm done. And he said, they have vans that like follow you all the way through with people who tap out and say, all right, we'll take you then, then, stay in the hotel or whatever. He said, then I saw younger girls. And he goes, dude, he's like, they probably trained for it, right? They're probably in the best shape of their lives, and me, I wasn't. And he goes, but it motivated me. Like, if they can do it, I can do it. He goes, so I got back on the bike. No, he said he started walking with it. So I just grabbed the bike and started walking. So then I got a little rest in walking however many miles, got back on the bike, made it to the first stop.
That's crazy.
He goes, do the first day, he said the first like 40 miles is the hardest.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I was like, dude. But I said then, when we were on tour, we stayed on the beach and we rode bikes. And we did like 14 miles on the bike. And I'm like, dude, like, you're a little bit tired towards the end, but like you feel good. Granted, not 90 miles.
Right.
But I'm like, but 14 miles, it doesn't take you that long.
No.
When you're doing it's not very much.
I used to average 14 miles a day.
Yeah.
The longest I've gone so far on my bike was we started at Rio Bravo.
Okay.
At the river.
Okay.
And we rode all the way to Alameda and back. It was 27 and a half. Took me 2 hours.
There's a lot of ups and downs on that trail too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just 27 and a half miles and took me 2 hours.
Yeah. And so I was like, dude.
That's why everything was closed down during COVID. We had to do something. And I came across a really good deal on a really good bike. And
why not?
We went for it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. We tried the next weekend to beat our time. And it was so windy. Oh, it was so bad. Coming back, the wind was in our face. Dude. It was so bad. Going that way, we killed it on time. Like, we beat our first initial time to Alameda because the wind was at our back, and it was super easy to coast that way. Mm-hmm. But coming back, oh my gosh.
Fighting that wind?
Like, on the way over there, I was averaging like 13 and a half miles an hour. On the way back, 8. Because that wind was just kicking my tail. Dude. But it was... I'm for it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's train for it.
Yeah.
I'm about it.
That's what I'm saying. If we're not, I wouldn't do it right now. I'd die.
No, yeah, same. I haven't done a whole lot of cardio.
Yeah, but I like cardio because I'm never gonna get big. My body type's just not big, so I'm not gonna try and go to the gym to get big. I'm not gonna try and do this stuff. I think the best shape of my life was when we were doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, I was 21. Yeah, I had abs. I hadn't had abs since I was a kid. You know what I mean? But then my hips. Maybe if I pushed through, I would have been okay. But I was like, heck no, do you want to do this? But I was probably the best shape of my life then. Yeah. But I've always just been thinner. Yeah. And so I can get toned pretty quick. Yeah. But I was like, no, I want to do something else. Like, yeah, I can sit there on a stationary bike and feel pretty good.
And it's different when you get on an actual bike.
Oh, yeah.
Because I did stationary bike forever, and then I got an actual bike, and I'm like, okay, this is a lot harder.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would love to do that. I love riding my bike. And I think the competition would like push me because I never run a 5K or anything with people. Because when I started getting into running and everything, COVID again. So I'd go out and I did a digital 5K. And what you do is you just go out, you run your 5K and you send in your time. And then if you get a medal, you get a medal. And I did that. It was great. I didn't do the best because I was just by myself. I was just cruising. But this Thanksgiving... Los Lunas does it's called the Turkey Trot. They do it every year. And you do a 5K on Thanksgiving Day. And this packed. There was hundreds of people. That motivated me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to let that guy beat me. Yeah. Oh, this guy's in front of me? I'm going to catch you and I'm going to pass you. And I think I came in I think there was like 150 people. I think out of that I got 19th.
Do they do it on the track or what? How
in the river?
Ooh.
And they mark it out in the river, and you go through that trail.
I feel like even that alone, the change of like, if you were to do the track, it's going to get so monotonous that you're like, this sucks, right?
And it's nice going through the river like that because the scenery changes. But I remember, out of 150, I took like 19th. Sick. Because I was like, I'm not going to let that guy beat me. Yeah. I'm not going to let you pass me. Yeah. I'd hear footsteps behind me. Oh, hell no. And I'd pick up my pace because I'm not letting you beat me. And the ones that beat me were guys that have been, and females that have been running, and they do like marathons. Yeah. Like that was a cakewalk to them.
So how many miles is that?
3.2.
Okay.
That's a 5K.
That's not bad.
No.
Yeah.
And it flies pretty good. I just had my headphones in my ears and just went for a run. Just listen to music. And the thing that I was trying to do too is like I put fast paced songs on, and I try to keep my feet going with the rhythm.
Mm.
So if it's doom doom doom,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and hit that rhythm. And like I said, 19th out of 115.
Yeah.
For the first one.
I think the old house I ran when I got back into, and I think I just need particular shoes
Yeah.
because I think do my knees and my ankles and hips. It's talking about
Running
age,
hurts.
dude.
Running hurts.
And
That's
so,
why I like biking.
Yeah.
It's low impact.
Yeah. So running, I was like, I'm gonna get into it. So I do a little bit here and there. I was like, I'm gonna do a full mile and time it, and I have the apps and everything.
Yeah.
And it was like 10 something, and I was like,
not bad for being.
granted, I'm not trying to do like military times or
Yeah.
anything like that, but I was like, dude, having not done any sports,
Right, that's
or
what I'm
anything,
saying, like-
I'm pretty out of shape, and I was like, I'm just gonna, and I'm pretty mentally, I'm like, I can do it if I put my mind to it. And so I was like, I'm gonna do a full mile, and I'm gonna time it. So granted, I wasn't jogging the entire time. I would walk a little bit, and then I get back to it.
Yeah.
And I still
That's
did
not
it
bad.
in 10, less than 11.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And I was like, dude, and then afterwards, I was like, oh, yeah, if you keep doing that, you feel pretty good. But then again, my ankles start hurting, my knees start hurting.
And you can, so apparently REI does a thing like twice a year where you can go in there and they call it getting gated. And they do that for your foot. They see where you, and they give you shoes
Based on, dude,
for your step.
yeah,
So my step's different than your step.
yeah,
I'm going to put pressure on this point, whatever. And they give you, so the insoles and stuff complement that.
dude. I'd be down for that. That sounds
Yeah.
nice. You
I'm waiting for them to announce because again, COVID hit and they stopped doing a bunch of stuff. So when they say that that's back up, I want to go get me some running shoes because I was doing pretty good on running.
Yeah.
I think my fastest mile ever was like 9:10, and again for not being a runner, that's not bad.
Did it with all the cigarettes I smoked too.
Yeah.
I was burning. I was like, this is not good. But I've really slowed down on cigarettes. I think I maybe a couple a month.
Yeah.
The electronic one's a little bit different, but
Yeah.
I was like, even that, I felt better doing that.
Yeah.
And even because they sound good, right? So I'll be with Grandpa or my boss. Want a cigarette? Yeah, let's go smoke a cigarette. And I'll go and I'm like,
I shouldn't have
it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
It always sounds better than it is, and that's like one thing. But no, dude, we should do that. I think that'd be fun. That'd be a blast.
And then even like you said, that Taos thing, I'd be so for it. Just to go, because I've gone riding with friends and stuff, and like when we go, like we have a blast all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The worst time was when we were in Ruidoso and we almost died, but that's it because we actually went on the mountain and was doing that stuff, and that was sketchy, and we got lost because anyway. But I enjoy it. And like going out with somebody, like having the conversation, because like when we were going in Albuquerque on the trail, you're side by side with each other. We're just talking and cruising and what have you.
Shoot, that'd be all. So
that's how you go.
Yeah.
Especially after that, because like when we were coming back, you just hit whatever mileage, and you're like, what, 13 and a half miles? You're like, oh, I'm tired, bro. This is brutal.
Yeah.
And then you're coming back, so you're like winded, but it's a good time. I enjoy it.
Back then, I'd be like, dude, let me stop for a cigarette. Yeah. But, dude, we'll close it up. But I do want to tell you, like, I don't tell you enough. But I think you know. You're an inspiration to a lot of people. You know, people who knew you back then. To who you are now, health-wise, everything about that. Dude, you are an inspiration to a lot of people.
Thank you.
And that's kind of why I want to start this. I want to end this podcast with something that might benefit someone. Whether it's telling stories of, hey, dude, I blew it. I was making a lot of mistakes. This is what I did to get out of it. This is what I did. And even if you don't know how you got out of it, something just clicked and you just changed. I don't really care to do that anymore.
Yeah.
That could be an inspiration to someone, you know, whatever it is. And with Dad, we talked about what was it like for him when he met Mom. Mom had 2 kids.
Oof.
And I was like, dude, that's not an easy thing. You know what I mean? And he goes, and he told himself, I would slow to anger.
Yeah.
That was my thing.
Wow.
Like for him, it's like, I would want to change that about myself. So that was Dad's piece. You know, take it easy. Enjoy your moments, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I want to do is like end it with, you know, we talk about a lot of positive things and we talk about, you know, things we look back that weren't positive, but it became a positive thing because we can look back and say these things, flip it. Yeah. So that's how we'll end this one. Whether it's your past self or future little Beff Jacas, what advice would you either give your past self or future kids, and which one would you choose?
So I wouldn't choose the past self because, like we said earlier, like that is who made me today. Like I said, there's a Bible verse that sticks to my head. It's in 2 Corinthians where it talks about we get comforted with this love and this comfort, and then we turn around and help someone going through the same thing with the same love and comfort of which we were shown. So I look at it like that. Like I help a lot of kids in a lot of different scenarios. So things that I put myself in or that I had no control over, they're going through similar stuff. So I'm able to like, hey, here's how you get through it. And I had to experience that in order to do this now. So it would be to my future kids, if and when that comes, just to help them with life. Like you don't need certain things. You don't need certain people. You don't need certain situations in order to be successful in life. Now, if they experience it and they go through something, again, here's that comfort of which I had. Let me help you through it. But I'm going to try everything in my power to avoid certain things you don't need in order to be successful. You don't need in order to be happy. There's only select things that you do need in life that are continuous throughout life. You need God. You need family. That's a constant. Like you need that and to be successful and to be happy in life. And everything else is just an additive, whether it's a good or bad. So that's what I would do is I would just try and help my future kids. Here's how we avoid things. Here's how we work through things. Here's how we get better.
There it is.
That's it.
It's deep. It's good. It's simple. It's simple.
Little details.
Little details.
Big outcomes.
Big outcome. Well, there it is, folks. Mr. Jeff Baca himself. Follow him on Instagram, Facebook. Whenever I release this, I'll tag all of his stuff. You guys can follow his fitness journey. And then now, too, we'll figure out when the Tour de Taos is. And, and that's my thing, real quick. I couldn't do it by myself.
Oh, yeah.
Even the gym and stuff, like the bike's the farthest I'll go. The stationary bike by myself. Because it's a stationary bike, right?
And you're at home.
Unless I buy two, which that'd be kind of weird. But, people are different. Everyone has their own past, and everyone has their own futures. For Jeff now, for myself, we took our dark days and made it a positive, and here we are today. And like I said, if you've never seen this dude before today, follow him on Instagram and Facebook and check it out because it is pretty inspirational.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for hanging out.
Thanks for the time, Doug.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
It's good to see you.
So much fun.
Peace, guys.